All right, y'all. I know what y'all thinking. Wait a minute. We're going to get to that. Okay. We're going to get to that. But before that, thank you guys so much. Welcome to the Real Precious Network, where we have the men's forum tonight. Ain't no men around me, y'all. Y'all know y'all used to seeing them, all around me, but they're not here yet. I didn't get word that they were busy or anything, so I hope they are okay and that they will be piling in. I hope I sent the right link. But I will drop the link in the chat in case I didn't send the right link. And if I didn't, I'm sorry. But I'm gonna drop the link. Before I drop the link, though, I do want to say hello to the wonderful people who are in the chat. Definitely hit that like button, subscribe, and share the live. Tonight we have a few videos that we're gonna go over. The main topic, though, is compliments and confusion. Okay, because a man is he's a little confused as to why he's getting his compliments. All right. And he just doesn't know why. And I do want to go over that tonight. But I'm going to say hello to some folks in the chat. I appreciate you guys for being in here. 3 a.m. Good evening. Good evening to you. Thanks so much for being here. Terica, hey sis. How you doing? Fish and the Fit is in the building. Good evening, everyone. Good evening to you as well. We also have worldwide collaborations. Thank you so much for being here. Happy Wednesday. Okay, we're halfway there to a 3-day weekend. You ain't lying about that. Okay, you ain't lying about that. I know everybody is looking forward to having that extra day. Unfortunately, it's going to be I'm about to say some shitty weather, but it's gonna be some shitty weather. Okay, get your sun and the fun on now, because I think Friday will be the end of that, and then it's gonna be some rainy weather. Okay. So be prepared for that for your holiday weekend. I'm not the forecaster, but Fox 29 does me good. We also have Menalik in the chat. Let's get the show started. Hit the like button. Hit the like button. Hit the like button. Get out the live chat. And hit the thumbs up to give us some love over here. Let the algorithm do what it do and spread the video for us. Okay. Yeah, it's been raining here. We heard a little bit of thunder, and then that was it. So we're just gonna hope it stays the way that it stays, the way it is right now. I don't think it's raining anymore. I think it's just wet outside at this point. So it was quick. It was a quick pass through. But that ain't the end of it. That ain't the end of it. And then it got the nerve to want to be 60 degrees tomorrow. Wasn't we just in the 90s? Like, what's really going on? What's going on? Who controlling the thermostat? Okay, because why we in the 90s and then we're gonna go all the way back down to the 60s? So bundle up, because I didn't look. I got my tea. Okay, because we don't have time to get sick. We don't have time to be underneath the weather. We don't have time to be taking these PTOs. Okay, other things is happening. Okay, so we can't even prepare the others because the others ain't gonna be prepared because they're gonna be sick. All right, so we all gotta stay healthy. All right, everybody just stay healthy. Drink your tea, some ginger and some lemon. Get the real honey. Okay, all right, and make sure you stay vitamin up. Okay, get your vitamins too. All right, just fight it on every level. All right, I'm going to join I'm going to drop the link for those who would like to join, because like I said, I don't know. I don't want to talk about the guys, and I could have sent the wrong link. Okay. All right, so I'm gonna drop this link, but I do want to get into these videos because I think they're good. Again, we're not pointing the fingers. All right, we're just pointing out behaviors. All right, we don't like the toxic, so don't come over here with your toxicness. Go somewhere else. There's other platforms for that. You can join the show though. I do have to see your face in the back stage. You don't have to show your face the entire time while you're up on the platform, up on the stage. But in the background, I do need to see your face. Okay, don't come over here like this. I'm asking to see your face and you like this. Okay, PSENG. That bill is due. Okay, that bill is due. So yeah, show your whole face, and we'll have a good show. All right, I'm dropping a link now. I'm gonna pin it. But how you guys doing? It is Wednesday. We had our show last night. Oh my goodness, guys. If you have the opportunity, please go back and watch the show from last night. Okay. My co-host that co-hosts the show with me. Excuse me, I'm just pinning this message here. My co-host who co-hosts the Adoptee Foster show that we have on Tuesday nights at 9 p.m. Eastern. Him and his sister, his biological sister, was on the show last night. And for some that may be like, oh, okay, his sister was on the show. However, he was adopted, and he was raised apart from his biological sister. He actually learned some very new information last night on the show. It was just a blessing to have them on there and to have them have their real life situation, play out for everyone to see. The internet's forever, child. And so hopefully it gives other people the courage to, talk about their stories, talk about reunification, talk about their experience, because a lot of times adoptees do not talk about their experience. Their truth makes others uncomfortable, and so because of the heaviness of being uncomfortable, the adoptee kind of hides and fades to the black, because they do not want that truth to be revealed, or those who are involved don't want the truth to be revealed. However, you can't reveal what you don't heal. Okay, it can't be healed unless it's out there in the air, and I talk about being hot, honest, open, and transparent, and that's what we had last night, a very hot conversation. And here is the man of the hour here from last night, 3 a.m. How are you today, sir? I think you're on mute. I can't hear you. I don't know if the audience can hear you.
Mic check, mic check.
There we go. How
How you
are
doing?
you?
Good. How you doing?
I'm doing well. So after yesterday, you've had time to think about it and marinate in it, and have a little experience internally. How do you feel after having that conversation with your sister last night?
I feel pretty good actually. Um, it when you know things, it's not like I can do anything about it, right? But just knowing, um, it's just something about knowing your story, and not like I said, not necessarily like I can go back and like change like what happened, right? I'm just you know taking it all in, and really appreciating the knowledge that my sister had bestowed upon us, because without her, I wouldn't have known a lot of that stuff. So um, I really appreciate her for that, and um, I actually think I found one of our uncle's phone numbers, but I waiting to verify that. So
Okay.
um, you know, um, so she said that she tried to contact one of our uncles on our mom's side when she had passed, and he basically didn't want anything to do with her. Like,
Yeah.
I don't know what the conversation was, but I'm pretty sure it was short and sweet.
Mhm. Yeah, and we touched on it last night, and we're not going to make this show about that, but
Right.
it was a big occurrence and a big experience. However, the one thing that we did touch on last night, and how our stories are similar as far as adoption, but how they differ is, you're biracial. And I tell you all the time, be patient. You're not getting responses from family members and things of that nature, but you're dealing with the element in your situation that I didn't have to deal with. We
Hmm.
all black. All right. You know and so dealing with that is a difficulty level that I've never experienced. And so
Hmm.
the be patient and things of that nature, it may go in one ear and out the other, but like I said, you I'm praying for you. Okay, it's going to take prayer, because only God can change hearts. You know what I mean? Like, things
Hmm.
happened years ago that you have no control over. Your mom and your dad had children, and you were the seeds of that, you and your sister, and having to deal with a certain type of anger, or distance from family members that you didn't have control over the situation, has to be just taking adoption to another difficulty level. So I will continue to pray for you, and make sure that whatever I can do on my end to help you. But that's another community, more of the community that we need, those who were transracially adopted, because that's just expertise that I just don't have. So
Hmm.
I'll be here with you, during the journey. We'll get through this. Hey, Sean, how are you this evening?
Hey, what's up, Sean?
Well, I'm well. What's going on? What's going on? How y'all doing today?
I'm doing good, doing
Doing
good.
good.
Malik is giving his congratulations. Good evening, Mr. H. Den 1822. Good evening. Good evening. Well, thank you guys so much for being here. Again, I have the link pinned to the top of the chat for those who'd like to join. No drama. That is my, and no disrespect. Okay. Those are my only two rules. Oh, the third one is I do have to see your face in the backstage before you are able to be on the main stage. So I found a few videos. I do my little creeping and searching on this on social media streets to see what we can talk about on Wednesdays on the men's forum. And I found a few videos. And this first video that I found had me cracking up so hard because we talk about relationships, we talk about being in companionship with one another, and this video proves that no matter what age you're at, you're going to see a lot of these same characteristics that you see in women and men of young and women and men of old. So I
Hmm.
want to play this video and I want to get you guys' perspective. Chat, join in, engage. We love when you guys are engaged in the chat. But again, this video had me dying. I had to watch it a few times. I had to watch it a few times, but we'll see if you guys have the same reaction that I had. Okay,
Hmm.
let's see.
What his idea of a first date was?
What was it?
To go walk along the Santa Monica Pier.
Beautiful. Isn't that beautiful? Let's go take a walk. Okay. A long walk.
And let me just tell you, if you've never been to California to
Oh,
see the Santa Monica Pier, you got to
okay.
get there. It
Experience.
is it's amazing.
Well, I want to go. Gotta put it on the list. Gotta put it on the list. But okay, so his idea of a romantic evening was to take a walk on the Santa Monica Pier.
That sounds like
And there were rides we could have gone on, but no, you had to pay for the ride. So he wasn't even paying for any rides.
Oh,
Yeah.
Martin.
And then there
Oh,
was a restaurant that I wanted to go to because it was real close there, the Lobster. And I'd been curious about it. I love lobster. And I thought, how perfect. And it was delightful.
It's her looking up in the air like I love lobster. Sorry,
I'm laughing at him because the way he looked, he was like, heck, I ain't paying
girl, you
no
want
ride.
what the hell you mean? You wanted me to pay some goddamn rides, girl?
To find out that they had live music playing and they had fabulous lobster on the menu, but it was awfully expensive. It was $50.
Yeah, how much was it?
$50.
Yeah.
So we discovered that there was lobster salad, which he suggested would be a good idea instead. And I thought that's a perfect compromise. And the lobster was rubbery in the salad. It was inedible. So that right there was all a big disappointment.
Well, I have to say, I thought it was a good time. And, we talked about what we're going to do, and we both agreed to go into the Santa Monica Pier. I had a little bit of vertigo, so I didn't want to go on the rides at that time.
Oh, okay.
Did
And
you tell Rhoda that? You told Rhoda you had vertigo?
She's like, oh, okay,
Well,
yeah, whatever.
I don't go around
She said, "Oh, okay."
telling everybody my whole, medical business.
Okay.
But
And that's it. I don't even know why they cut it off there. I should have found the entire video. Okay. All right. So, guys, watching this video, and I'll play it back if we have to, because I love a good laugh. Okay. What did you guys see in this video? Obviously, they have to be in their like 60s, right? They have to be in their 60s. But watching this video, what were some things that stuck out to you? And again, chat, go ahead and chime in as well in the chat. I'll highlight some of the comments.
I mean, where do we start? I don't think the walk was a bad idea. I mean, I think it's always good to actually move around on a date, especially. I mean, I don't know if that was their first date, but dates usually, I usually like to do something with activity, um, like for example, I don't know if you ever been axe throwing.
No, I've never been, and that's something I would like to do. I've been
It
to
is
a
so
range,
fun.
but
It
I've
is so
never
fun.
did anything like that, like an axe throwing place. And I think we
Yeah.
have them around here.
Or like go play darts or like go shoot pool, something where you can still talk to each other, but you can still have like some kind of like competition towards one another. And, just it's just good to move around when you on a date. Like, and I don't think the walking the pier thing was a bad idea. I mean, depending on, I guess it depended on like how warm it was, during that time. I think that's probably maybe the biggest thing. But like him not wanting to pay for nothing, like that's another story. He was like,
Okay, all right, Sean. Oh, Sean, look, Sean over here.
Sean on 3 phones.
Well, my fault. I got a call over here, and
The
one
life.
thing that was missing. One thing that was missing was Hold on, Mom. I'm gonna call you right back. All right. All right. One thing. What? She's right in the store. I'm dropping her off. She's asking me that I want anything.
Oh,
Wasn't
okay.
like.
Like,
Yeah.
we ain't gonna do moms like that.
I looked at your face, and gentlemen, you have two things to roll precious on. We have the Santa Monica Pier, and we have axe
Let's
throwing.
throw it. I'm not
So
already.
just make mental notes. See, I'm paying attention. I'm gentlemen. I don't know if she's still single, but if she is, there you have it. The segue. But okay,
Yeah.
the one thing that is missing, Chuck Woolery, 2 and 2,
Facts.
because that's exactly what it reminded me of. Um, when what's going on? What it Love Connection?
Hmm.
Uh, and they were describing the date, and it is hilarious because they had two different perspectives. He now all of a sudden got vertical, but and she's like, "Yeah, okay."
She's like,
Didn't
yeah,
say
whatever.
anything about
The
that to
lobster was
me.
rubbery.
Yes, and the lobster was rubbery, and quite frankly, it seemed like he didn't want to pay for anything.
Mm-hmm.
Um, and so he was making it very clear where he could have just said that. I mean, well, $50 for a lobster isn't bad. It's actually kind of good. But if it's your first date, which it seemed like it was for them, perhaps you don't want to invest that. Me personally, I don't think it's a significant investment. I think it's a worthwhile investment if you're going to take somebody out on a date. $50 is reasonable in my opinion. But it was just hilarious the way that they had two different perspectives in this whole dynamic of a date.
Minalise says she wanted lobster on the first day. Where's Mr. Crab when you need him? Where he at? Where he at? All right. All
She
right,
was on the other side of the menu.
we got Coach Jerry and Art Payne in the building, and I'm gonna play the video again because
I seen that. That's great.
I wanna laugh again because it just don't stop. Like they too old for this, okay? But then again, it's like you can't even say that they're too old for this because people will people, right? People are going to be people, but it's comical seeing it because she embodies a woman who is just telling the truth about a date, okay? And he like, look. What you want from me? All right, so I'm gonna play it again for those who have not seen it. Good evening,
Right.
guys. Thank you so much for joining.
What's up, Art Payne?
What's going on, people? I was
What's
late.
up, brother?
I think I fell asleep, man.
You look like you look like you just woke up too.
But tell them
Well,
guys.
welcome back to the real world.
Thank you, Coach. Yeah, I just woke
Them
up.
naps, look, it was raining. That rain will put you to sleep.
Oh yeah,
So, I don't believe.
I woke up like this.
I can tell how your burns are. You like, yeah.
Well,
Where am I?
I'm glad you made it. We're gonna get to this video.
You know what his idea of a first date was?
What was it?
To go walk along the Santa Monica Pier.
Sounds like
And there were rides we could have gone on, but no, you had to pay for the ride. So he wasn't even paying for any rides.
Mhm.
Look at his face. He like, heck no, I wasn't paying for no ride.
Fuck no.
Lucky you getting his dinner.
Oh, Martin.
And then there was a restaurant that I wanted to go to because it was real close there, the Lobster, and I'd been curious about it. I love lobster,
Oh, geez.
Lobster.
Come on, man.
and I thought how perfect. And it was delightful to find out that they had live music playing,
Uh-oh.
and they had fabulous lobster on the menu, but it was awfully expensive. It was $50.
Yeah, how much was it?
$50.
Yeah.
So we discovered that there was lobster salad, which he suggested would be a good idea instead. And I thought that's a perfect compromise.
Yeah, so you know what I'm saying? She's like, it's a compromise. I can't get the lobster on my plate, so let's get the lobster salad. It's a compromise. He's trying here. He's trying.
And the lobster was rubbery in the salad. It was inedible. So that right there was all a big disappointment.
Well, I have to say, I thought it was a good time. And, we talked about what we're going to do. And we both agreed to go into the Santa Monica Pier. I had a little bit of vertigo, so I didn't want to go on the rides at that time.
Oh, okay.
Did
And,
you tell Rhoda that? You told Rhoda you had vertigo?
Oh.
Well,
Tell them my American history.
I don't go around telling everybody my whole, medical business,
Okay.
but
All right. So he don't go around telling his whole medical.
That is funny.
Shorty wanted to go on the rides, and he should. I mean, honestly, if you really didn't want to pay for them, you should have just said that. Like, you should not just say you didn't want to pay for them, but say that you have vertigo. Like, a woman is not going to make you go on rides if you have vertigo. Like, why was that y'all shaking your heads? No.
No, I'm just thinking my head about him. That's funny, man.
Oh, I'm like, y'all would, but is that something that you would say? Like, I'm having a little spell of vertigo right now. I'm just not feeling right. Like,
I say you not feeling good,
That's another excuse. Well,
that's not an excuse.
no, I think he's lying. He just didn't want to do it.
Oh, so y'all think he really is lying? Oh, see, look at me trying to give him like, the poor man had vertigo.
Man, but that would prove that you could be 850 years old and you still a woman.
Yes.
And she's still a woman. I mean, it was
Come
a
on,
bad
man.
day.
It's a bad date. They didn't say.
It's just a bad date, listen, we thought that was bad. The fact that he wouldn't be able to get it up, she would be on there saying, "Hey, we got home and I was ready to get down."
And that was disappointing. She would have been like, so disappointing.
And that would be the bad story right there, right? Yeah. If she thought she was going to get something from old dude.
That would put the nail in the coffin. I'm sorry.
But she would have definitely said, Dad, we went home and I was expecting to feel like a girl again.
Yeah. And he ain't come through.
That was those kind of memories was gone from this guy like 25 years ago.
You know why I pay, man? I was thinking about you, man, when I saw the video. I saw the video before I came. No. But no, let me explain. I was thinking about you in a good way, right? Because I'm like, okay, our pain would be the oldest guy up here, and they should. And President, I'm gonna get on you because you showing some old ass. Both of our pain's mama, my grandmama, your great grandmama. You know what I'm saying? Listen, I'm just saying that I'm sharing it out of love, right? And it's nothing bad, right? Yeah. But the fact that I see things stupid sometimes. Senior citizens, they own limited income, so to be going on a $50 date for you and me is gonna stop me from paying my bills, right? And he even said, "Hold up, we getting to know each other. Come on, man, you don't get no lobster on the first date." Not no lot. Now we can get some buffalo wings or something. We can do something. We got live music outside, baby. We gonna sit outside, eat this little doggy bag over here. You know what I'm saying? But the lobster on the first day, because again,
It's expensive.
and I'll pay. And I'm gonna say something. Shut up. This is why something happened to my wife. I talk to her all the time. She's like, fine, something happened to me. You find I say, no, I'm gonna be a single man.
Oh yeah.
I ain't dealing with no old ass people trying to watch their little grandkids. When I want to go, I'm gonna go. I ain't going somewhere because you want to eat $100 lobsters on my money. No, you got to pull out your little Social Security. I need to see what you're working with.
What he said.
But
I asked my wife that too, man.
I just don't see that commitment to that. You know,
that's
just
funny, man. You crazy.
I just don't see that.
I asked my wife that, said, are you going to get remarried if something happened to me? She said no. Right. And it was the kind of no that I was saying. Is she saying no because it was such a distressful thing being married to me? No, or she saying no is that nobody else can replace me. You know,
nobody else can replace you, bro.
Yeah, but that no, that shit, that no had a lot. That no came out. With,
it bothered you because you be listening to YouTube and shit like, oh, what you mean?
What you mean by that? No, what you mean? I didn't say that, of course. She said no. I wanted to beat my chest. Yeah, I got it. Yeah,
but a lot of times when men get divorced, they do get back into relationships quicker than women. It seems like. It seems like men who divorce
not committed.
Right. Well, I mean, ain't nobody say you marrying it again.
No.
But you are quicker to because you get used to a woman doing things for you. And I'm not saying that you're using the next woman. I'm just saying that you are getting your needs met and you're not gonna let that stop because you divorced a woman.
Yeah, but that's what I'm saying. That's what I'm saying.
Go ahead.
I was gonna say that's what I mean, Precious. We gonna get our needs met, but we ain't babysitting you and your grandkids. We ain't sitting over there. That's the thing. See,
right? But isn't part of that? But isn't part of getting your? I mean, you want to get your needs met, right? And she want to get her needs met. So is it dating and taking her out and spending time with her? And I'm not saying she got to get lobster, but isn't that all a part of it? I mean, it's not always Netflix and chill.
I think when men jump back into once a big breakup, we're talking about a breakup, right? Depending on who you are and your age. What we want another woman to is like salve a balm to get over the chick that left us. We need to get laid because you want to stop thinking about the old chick, man. Because first of all, you can't compete with her because a woman who has the commodity, she could be in the cut as soon as she wants to. So for men, we got to go find somebody else to get our mind off the fact our chick thought we weren't good enough anymore. So she's gone. And when she's gone, that means she's got Mr. Maintenance Man or whoever else banging it out. And I'm sitting down here brooding. You don't want brooding men. The worst thing for men to do is brooding over a chick after she leaves. That's when we become dangerous. When some men become dangerous. So, and that's my advice to men. Get in the cut as soon as you can somewhere else. It's like Vicks vapor rub and shit. You know, that's it on. You know, so you can start to heal.
Yes.
Don't get into another relationship.
I agree. Get into something and get out of something.
So just sex your way back to his sexual healing.
Yes.
Just take her to Pound Town and keep going.
Yeah. I mean, it might be bad advice. It'd be bad advice if I told somebody to find another woman to fall in love with. You got to heal from that. But
that's
somebody to get the edge off. There ain't nothing. Listen, I don't know about other men. Ain't nothing.
I agree.
Men, they're losing a woman and sitting down here stewing in those juices. That's the worst place.
Go to a dark place. My mother told me that at 14. My mother told me that at 14. Said, "Don't ever run behind a woman, boy." I mean, she cussed me out for 2 hours because she saw I was reacting to my girlfriend. She like, boy, if I ever because, and then she explained like, boy, you can go into a dark place and be doing shit that you out of your mind. So I even tell my son, listen, if you break up, it ain't about having sex. Just move on. And the best way you're gonna move on, you're gonna have to do something that can relieve your stress, but you also got to do something that would direct your energy, meaning I would recommend, some people, they feel like some niggas want to punch a wall, man, to go to the gym, beat the hell out of that boxing bag, kick it, punch it, elbow it, whatever. But then your nature still calls for a woman and you can't commit to that energy like, oh, we dating. No, stick and move at that time. Get in that shit. Even if you just talk to a woman, man, you gotta. Hey, she might like the way you knock it out, and she might. Be, but I'll say this person. Find a woman that's in agreement to just do that.
That's right. Yeah,
and there's plenty of them out there would just let you come over and not. Yeah, be honest. Say, listen, I only want you to knock me down, and they'll be like, okay. All I got is $50. All I got is $50.
I learned that lesson when I was 19 years old. I learned that lesson.
Or we could go borrow that $50 from old boy.
It was a tough lesson to learn, man. It was a tough lesson to learn, but I'm glad I learned it young.
Yes.
19, man, I came home. I told y'all, frat brother caught me crying over this chick.
Crying.
I was crying.
Y'all Pray was crying the way he was talking.
I don't think I was quite boo-hooing, but there was real tears, right? And he said, what's going on? They used to call me Pain. What's going on, Pain? What's going down? And he says, well, Faith, don't tell me. I know who it is. Okay.
He knew what
it was. So, she was cool and shit, Okay, I got my ally. We frat brothers and shit. He's commensurate. Later on, the brother came home, because we were in the frat house. He couldn't wait to say, guess what, fella? I saw Pain crying over this job. Man, all the brothers, man. I was like in the middle of the roast, like a roast. Yes. I felt like Kevin Hart. Yes. You know what I'm saying? They would laugh, man. I said, yes. I cursed his ass out. I was mad because I thought it was like his confidence. No. And then from that point on, man, I said, I'm never gonna let this shit happen to me no more. Never. And
that's the greatest thing. That camaraderie with
when you say you're never gonna let it happen to you anymore, what does that mean?
Well, I wasn't gonna let I stilled my heart. So I mean, because that after I cut her off, we had relationships again, but I was so hard. She used to cry and everything. I said, hey, I'm not being vulnerable to your ass no more, but I'll bang it out,
So how do women identify the heartbroken man?
Women don't give a shit about you being heartbroken.
Right. Well, no, women are out there dating. We're out here dating. So how do we identify?
You mean the next one? You mean the next one?
That's easy.
Go ahead, coach.
They talk about it. Guys will talk about the girl. They'll talk about a girl that you ain't never seen before. They'll talk about
it. To the next girl?
Yeah, they'll talk about that girl. Absolutely. And they'll compare you to her. If you wear your glasses like this, you look better. If you wear your hair like this, guys and I'll say, pressure. Your peers. See, our parents are a little older than me, and that's why I love about Jenny. Because girls, once they got to acting funny, we would cut them off. We wasn't sitting around crying about them, and we would shame like, oh, dude, you crying? Come on, let's go out. Just like a woman today, when they divorce a man, what they do? They go out and have a divorce party. What they say is, girl, you back out here on that dock, on that hammer carousel. Let's go get you some, because I didn't like him anyway. Come on, man.
You can't
guys talk about it. Sean be talking about, because I know Sean got his heart broke when he was about 5 years ago.
He's still hurting.
I'm telling you, I can tell. He won't sell us though, but I get you, Sean. I love you, Sean. You're like a cousin, man.
How does identify the heartbroken man, the one who just want to get over his ex?
How does a woman identify? Well, first of all, she wouldn't identify me unless I told her. I don't go and tell the next woman what happened to me with the last. Right? If I'm gonna get laid, there's no like, oh, woe is me. I think that's a turnoff for women.
Yes.
So I wouldn't tell her that, but I'd be fair. Like I said, if we're gonna fool around, I was a frat brother. We had a lot of women around, right? But they all knew who my old girlfriend was. So if I was a free agent already, they know that wasn't going on. So I didn't have to lie. But I wasn't like some real kind of guy having millions of girls. I mean, like I said, I had relationships. Girls liked me because I liked them back, right? So, but I didn't have to identify me. I was just fair with any woman I was with. So what happened to the other chick? If they asked me, I would tell them. We broke up.
Okay.
But there's no woe was me shit, man. I never know.
I'll actually give y'all the answer once y'all done answering.
Let me answer. Let me answer.
Yeah. I don't know the answer.
You go and find that T-shirt that All Pain was wearing with the tears on them, and then it'll be easily identified. What happened to this shirt?
It's drenched. It's drenched. That shirt is drenched with tears. I should have had one called the tears of a clown.
Oh my goodness.
Oh man. You know
Mm-mm.
what's interesting? You asked earlier. I want to hear your answer to this, but you asked earlier what happened. Why do men go into relationships quicker than women? Usually because they're not the ones who wanted the divorce, and
Mm.
so therefore they're looking to get, to have the relationship that they wanted to have in the first place before the woman wanted to divorce them. So they usually try and find somebody who's suitable for that, for those needs, and fall back into place after they, wipe them tears that we was just talking about.
Could be.
Okay. Okay.
Your turn, 3 a.m. You
Three.
got all the answers.
I don't have any answers. You guys basically said them all. The way you get over that one, you go to the next one.
All right. So
Yeah, what's the answer?
the answer was said. Arpane, you actually said it.
What I said?
And I see a comment that tends to it. It's a broken heart is unbearable. I bear witness to it. Okay. So I'm not making fun of y'all pain. I'm not laughing at y'all. However, women's hearts get broken all the time. Okay. And it seems like when a man says, it's unbearable, like I can't go through this and I can't, sorry, y'all, my computer about to die. I can't, it's unbearable. Like I think that's a little comical. Again, I'm not laughing at your pain, but the way that a woman can identify that a man has been hurt, and Arpane, you said it, you're not being vulnerable with her. You're not showing her your emotions. You're not taking it there. You literally just want to have sex, watch a show or two, keep it moving. Y'all bear with me, okay? I'm gonna still be here talking.
No, okay, that's cool. Yeah, but that's it.
So you're not available to her emotionally, and a lot of men, when they do go through heartbreaks, Coach Ferg said it. He said, when I coach my son, I tell him, you got to redirect your energy and you got to do different things with your time, and the majority is get underneath another woman, and that is the man thing to say because y'all are men, right? However, there are men who are heartbroken, and what they do is they take that time to come to themselves. So they will stay at the gym, they will pick up a craft or perfect their craft or perfect their profession, throw themselves into work and do those things. Now I know men are men, you guys need to you need to release and do what you need to do. However, most men will go out and pollute the women that are out there.
There you go, President. There you go, President.
Y'all just admitted to doing it, but then it's here you go, and there are women who will go with just the bare minimum because they're not looking for anything, or they don't necessarily want to be with you either. But that is a way of masking your heartbreak or masking the emotional ups and downs that you had with a woman, and so now you're not going to show any woman any type of vulnerability, and then you run into then you're in this state of being, and you may a lot of men say, I lost a good one because I wasn't ready, I wasn't emotionally vulnerable, I wasn't open. And I think that when you are looking to get into a relationship, you do have to leave yourself open like that. That saying, my nose is wide open. You do have to be open for that. And so, in my opinion, that's how women can easily spot a man who is just either heartbroken or just not ready for a relationship, period.
Is that before and after we have a good night together? When does she find that out? Is that before? That's before the gusto or afterward? But you're absolutely spot on with what you're saying. But
no, women don't have to have sex with you to know you're heartbroken. Like Coach Ferg said, there are some men who will talk about it. There are some
yeah, I could do that.
Who can wear on
your own point. All I'm just trying to say it's a transition period, though. You don't stay in that state.
Yeah, you don't.
You don't stay. That's what I need to say. That you don't stay in that state. It's a transition period where you just have to get over the pain one way or the other. You know, because if you had a real relationship with a woman you were close to, you trusted in this, and she don't want you no more. You know, for men, you got to transition. You know, you just got to transition. But there's ways to do the transition. You can sit around and brood, thinking about waiting for the phone to call. Every time you see her, you get a twinge. You know. And then the worst thing you could do is try to beg for her back and all those kind of pathetic things that some men do. Or else you just try to go ahead and, you know, move on, get that little, like I said, Vicks vapor rub a little bit on you. And then you move on. But you're right. Some women could pick that up if you're not truthful with them because you're not opening yourself up to her. But usually, if a woman wants you and she likes you, she might not care about all that until afterwards.
There you go.
You know, maybe we could still have that encounter.
There you go, Precious.
But you're right. It's all kinds of different men.
She like,
but you're absolutely right. I have no argument with what you're saying.
A heartbroken man is a horrible man. Like, you know, it's they like right there next to each other.
He goes on.
So we can't afford to be heartbroken.
Right, we can't afford to be.
No, you can't. But stay over there and do what you need to
do. Let's be clear. A heartbroken person is horrible.
Yeah, there you go. There you go. Especially because of a heartbroken woman. That's a man.
Say where Precious at, right? Yeah. Precious. It depends on what he says to the other girl, right? So I'm heartbroken, right? And I see a lady that I probably know before, somebody who we liked, but we never hooked up. I mean, if I'm honest with the fact that, you know, I don't want a relationship, and she said, you know, this is where women lie, where they don't want a relationship, but they might want to get down. That's their first lie, right? Especially back in my day. Once you have, because I know if a woman invites you back more than once or twice, you kind of own it.
Yeah,
you know, and so if you prolong that, knowing she's catching feelings, then you're wrong, you know. But
well, I think that, you know, both men and women know that when you spend time with a person, especially if you're having sex with them, then you are going to naturally grow feelings for this person. I don't think that anyone can really, like you said, Arpain, if it's, you know, 2, 3, 4 times, that man has grown an attachment too. It may not be as full blown as a woman who's like, oh my God, like I have to be with him now. But you're growing an attachment of going back. Like you won't let go. Like, you know what I mean? So there is some type of attachment there.
Yeah, some type of yes.
I don't think that women necessarily lie to themselves. I think that women don't realize, again, that once you continue to have sex with a man and you're telling him that you don't want to be with him, that you're really fooling yourself. I guess it's semantics.
What's the difference between fooling yourself and lying to yourself?
Well, like I said, it's probably just semantics, right? But as a woman, women are emotional. Women know that. So, you know, for a man to even buy into what the woman is saying is foolish as well.
Well, you know, but you know what? Where does these terms "friends with benefits" come from? Or, you know, no strings attached come from that. Men didn't just make that up. It might fundamentally not be true over a period of time, right? They made those movies, then you can see their attachment growing on both sides and stuff like that. Is it fair to women? I think it's just a natural order of things. If a woman is opening herself up to you, I would expect her. I think it's more natural for that woman to grow some attachment to you, even more than you back to her, unless you're a really bad guy just using her. I'm not saying that. I think that's the way it should be. I think what's sad in society now is that there's women who could just pull their pants up and leave just like men. I think that's the sad part.
Well,
that's the sad part.
Is that not what men? So would you? So would you?
No, not one. We might want to fool around, but we don't want women like that.
You want her to be into you or not? Like, what is it that you want? Why is that sad when if a man, if all he wants is to have sex, and the woman is now matching that energy, and I know why you think it's sad, and I know you're going to explain it because that has some type of, you know, virtue, you know, about her. However, if that's all you want, why judge the woman if she is capable of doing that?
I didn't say that as a judgment. From the standpoint, I just say as a degradation of the fact that a lot of women in the past weren't like that. From my understanding, too many are like that now. That dynamic change is the chaos in the sexual marketplace.
Mm-hmm.
I argue with men about this. Women own the sexual marketplace. We play in it.
That's it.
Right? And women don't like to hear the fact that they own it, because then it comes with accountability and all that other shit. But men play in the marketplace that women create, right? Because men in general will take sex from a woman any way she's willing to give it. But we're in the 90 percentile when that happens. We don't run shit. With men and sex, we don't run. Our sexual control ends right at the event horizon, which is at the beginning of a vagina.
Right at the end.
That's where our control ends. So it's just one of those kind of things, and so it doesn't make a man doesn't say he's not responsible for what happens afterwards. It just says he's not in control. My yes is not more powerful than a woman's no.
Sure.
It's never, nowhere, state, federal, local. A woman's no is more powerful than anything I might want in that sexual, potential. And that's what it is. So, I mean, I know, do men take advantage of it so they can get laid? Yeah, this men will do that. That's part of the game. But women are not that naive.
Well,
They're not that naive. They try to be, but they're not. All men want sex from women.
and women know that too.
But that doesn't mean the man is nefarious. Men want sex from women they eventually marry. Men want sex from women that they discard. Men want sex from women that they just want to be friends with and be around. The whole spectrum is there. But make no mistake, a man approaching a woman is because at some point, and I mean, if there's no limits there when we get to know each other, I mean, there's no sex going to be involved. A man who's old enough and discerning enough, he's not going to keep trying, right? He should just be cool. That woman is off limits, right? It's a lot of women in my life that's off limits, so I don't be pursuing that. But there's millions of women out there.
So weird.
So I mean, I think the dynamics.
I hope they're all off limits, sir.
Well, of course, they have been for a long time, man. It's the only one. My wife should probably come out and say, "Yeah, there's one more." I heard this story. There's one more woman who's
Better
off.
watch out for a flying shoe.
There's one more woman who's off limits after that story, buddy.
Oh my
Yeah,
God.
but some women act like they are so clueless that they want sex too. Like don't let that fool you. Like they not out here just I want to go get some lobster that's hard. Like come on. Like there are women out here who it's like they get offended like if you talk about sex too soon, but as soon as they'll be quick to be like, oh well, I need my bills paid, I need this paid, but it's it's like one side of the coin wants something that the other is acting like she in first grade. It's not the conversations aren't tangible.
Yeah. Only time a woman acts like that is when they don't like you. The dudes that they like, he can pull up at 3 a.m., eat up all the kids' snacks, and knock her down in ways she only dreamed of. The dudes that they don't like, they're the ones that's going to pay the bill in between that time. You're going to feed me, help my slow kids with their math homework, come through with the grass. You're going to do all the fake maintenance stuff, and some other dude get to come over here because he got that look that I like. He got that, and Preston, I'll say about this. This is the problem.
Coach. Keep going.
When we meet too early and start having sex, right? By default, we had to come in and knock it down. We had to come in the door and put our footprint in everything. Because if we leave her and she on that phone, girl, let me tell you about Coach Ferg. That nigga.
Yeah.
He ain't.
She gonna run that down to everybody, and everybody see me, any potentials, they gonna look at me like I'm a clown. Look at you, goofy. Look at you. You ain't nothing. You ain't doing nothing.
Coach, have you been there? You never been there? You haven't been there?
I've never been there, but I've had to console guys like in your time that have been there. Like, dude, come on.
I've been through all of this shit, man.
So
I've been there.
Precious, women know exactly
those
what they
walking
doing.
shade, you know, shit. Man.
Women know exactly when they get horny for a dude. They got that look, got that bill. He ain't got to do nothing. Say he ain't got to do nothing but look in her eyes. Now me, I gotta take her out, get her some lobster, let her get on the ride. She ain't never been. You know what I'm saying? I gotta come pick her up. I gotta drive. You know what I'm saying?
But you know, Coach, you hit on a lot of stuff though, man. But you know, a lot of guys don't have those experiences. But I've been there. I've been the guy who went and bought some wine to a girl, and my door. She was in my old dorm room. We're sitting. She was one of the prettiest one. First of all, I had no business trying to get laid by this. This woman was a solid 10, right? So I'm going over there. She liked me because I'm a frat guy. We're sitting down, smoking a little tea, a little wine. So
was that before or after our pain? Was that before?
No, I didn't get none. No.
The first chick that broke your heart, was that before or after?
Oh no, this was afterwards. This was afterwards.
Okay.
Afterwards. So we sit down, we're drinking. She's nice, man. I don't know if we kissed or not or whatever. So I'm leaving. There's an L shape to the elevator at the other end of the hall. You go down and make a right to the elevator. I remember she I see my frat brother walking up. And he light-skinned dude looking like you, Coach Ferg.
Yeah, see,
he's knocking them down 3 or 4 times a day, you know, different.
You spoke to him, you dapped him up and everything?
No. I'm walking back because I'm leaving, right? And I see him walking towards, I don't know where he was going. I looked at him, right? Because I pledged him. I said, where you going?
No, you talked to him.
He told me I'm going to that girl. So I said, what? You going to her room? I have her all buttered up and shit.
Yeah.
And I said, man, all I know is when I left dry and shit, he's over there on my wine and cheese. That shit out. I told him, man, I said, man, it was one of those kind of things. I mean, I didn't get mad. He's a frat brother, man. We still talk today.
Yeah, of course I do.
I said, man, that's where you go. He said, yeah, you know, I had to.
He up for bragging now, man.
I said, I'm leaving on dry, but you know, my jeans were all puffy with all the blue balls and shit. You know, and he going down there knocking it. I said, man, we laughed at that before, but these are stories. I had stories with some chick, you know. I mean, I wasn't the best, you know, I wasn't the champion. You know, I saw later on, had a couple of girls with her. I heard the snicker.
Precious.
I've been on all levels of this shit, man.
Impressive. Our pain experienced that in the 70s, right?
Yeah.
I experienced it in the 80s, right? And these little tight jean wearing dudes in their 40s can't go through that with y'all. They crying the worst ever.
The key is that you're supposed to be learning lessons from these daggone
right.
That's correct. I don't wear no tight jeans.
You better be learning lessons, man. You know, I'll end with this one. Let me just add this one thing. I had this AKA that I knew. We were at the academic spine. She was lovely, real red bone, had twins. She's trying to get through. You know, she's trying to graduate. So I'm sitting down talking to her, and we start talking about relationships. And I guess I might have gave her like the feeling of this is when I was fresh off of being hurt. She said, yeah, you just broke up with somebody, didn't you? There you go. I said, yeah. I said, yeah. You know, and she said, listen to me. She said, well, this is what you need. She was older. She says, one thing as a man, you need to know that women don't have any power over you than what they have between their legs. If you lose yourself to that, then you're lost. I'm 850 years old. I never forgot that conversation. And I'm so mad that I don't remember her name. It was like every so often, I remember when I get those nuggets from people. I remember where we were sitting. I remember how she said it to me. I remember the conversation. And it's something that never left me. And it was just what I needed to hear at the time. You know, and it was like she was like she was like an angel.
That was your lost angel. That was your lost angel.
You know what I'm saying? Oh my God. You know, so I mean, I'm not really listen, if I was really handsome, I would be like
the Don Juan.
There would be no woman I couldn't conquer. If I was one of those kind of guys who
I'm a hoe.
You know, I mean, I'd be calling Ebony K. Williams. I heard you got problems with successful men. Let me fix that for you, baby.
Yeah, get them our pain. Let them know. Yeah, let them know our pain. Y'all better take notes.
I do own the bus.
Yeah, y'all better take notes, man. He's giving y'all game.
I don't ride it, I own it.
Well,
you don't ride it, you own the bus, right?
I own the bus company, not just the bus, baby. I own the company. Let's talk about it.
So I'm glad that you guys kind of went a little bit further into that conversation because I think other people need to hear it. I liked everyone's input. Menelik says it don't make a man less masculine to talk about a heartbreak. It's part of life experience. And I think, I agree with that. I think that men should definitely, I think men should talk, women should talk. Again, you don't hear what you don't reveal. So I think that it does need to be something that you're able to express in the way that you like to express it. And if you don't know how to, learn, go somewhere where someone's going to give you some education or some practices. Because again, I think a heartbroken man and a married man, in a broke man that ain't got no job, they're dangerous men. I think
they could be depending, and that's why I think women understand. They need to understand that, like men, like when two men get together. I'm sorry for cutting you off. We understand that we can only talk to each other a certain way.
Okay.
There's certain governors from men to men that when you cross that line, you got to be ready to fight. Women don't have that such governors. They'll take a man over across that line, and they don't. Sometimes women don't know when to stop. I'm not blaming it on them, but they're not aware of what they're doing from the standpoint that the guy across from you don't want him to get past the breaking point. Right. Just like the lieutenant governor who went ape crazy with his wife and did her and did himself. Mm-hmm. He was broken because he cheated on her. And she let him have it, and he couldn't move because he lost a $400,000 business. He lost all his contacts. He disgraced himself. So he's already broken, right? So I don't know what she said to him at all. All I know is that when he crossed the line, he took her out and then himself, but he purposely didn't take the kids out. That means he was of sound mind enough. You know what I'm saying? He broke, but he's going to spare the kids. I just say, men. I don't see how you can't. When somebody goes crazy, you don't know where their crazy point is. That's why I say anybody who off somebody, I think at that moment, of course, they're not in their right mind. I don't care who it is, because then you don't know where the breaking point is. And I think women should be careful. I told my daughters that. Because I was telling my daughter, she always gives me flack, and I'm talking too much. And she's like always smart mouth with me. I said, I hope you don't talk like that to men out in the street. And I hope you don't, I know she like to put that little dig in, and I always got to get the last word. I said, I hope you don't, I hope you understand the difference, because I love you, so I have these conversations. You know what? That just means I'm getting old. You become like a sage and some shit like that.
Yeah, the wisdom. You look, when you're a child, you put away the childish things, right? And as adults, you have to be able to carry that wisdom with you and pass it down. You don't hold it in. It ain't just for you, child. It's for those who are in your family,
right?
Those who are within arm's reach. Platforms like this where we have these conversations. Because, not a lot of people grow up in loving homes. And so, they have to learn the hard way. And the hard way usually is not really having someone who cares enough about them to warn them or train them or educate them before they actually need these skills and conversations to get through certain things. So I wanted to play that video because, again, people are going to people, and that no matter what age you're at, you're going to be faced with. Um, I could tell that was very uncomfortable for the guy, right? For her, she was just talking about her date, and she was very honest about it, and I commend her for being honest about it. But at the end of the day, there is no age to being honest about the life experiences that you go through, and in some point or another, there's going to be someone that is probably going to be the villain in the story, right? There's going to be someone that could have did things a lot better, or could have paid for the rides, or things like that. So I thought that was interesting because, again, we're pointing out not the people but the behaviors, and that video proves that the behaviors don't really change. Yeah, they don't really change. It's just it's the same thing, just a different person or different face, different name.
That guy was cheap even when he was young.
Yes, and that's a behavior, right? Like you to me, I'm not a person that, we covered this on here, like, okay, women, if you want something from a man, ask him. I just don't have that in me. And so I am someone that's like, okay, are they a cheerful giver? Meaning, if they give me something, are they gonna be like, oh, remember when I did this for you? Or, like, you know what I mean? Like, I think it's even biblical. Like, you shouldn't be with someone who's stingy. Like, that's just not, every time something happens, or every time you decide to give, if it's thrown back and forth, you give begrudgingly. I've seen people who will do something for somebody else, but they complaining the whole time. They underneath their breath the whole time. Like, if that's the case, don't do nothing for me. Like, don't do anything for me. Okay. Because it's not that I'm not grateful, but you also have to realize that, even someone, I remember I was getting my feet done one day, right? And the lady, I thought she was going to yank off my toe. The way she was like yanking the toe and trying to file it. I'm like, I have Myra's feet. Like, you ain't got to go to work on my feet like that. Right?
He's up, baby. He's up.
She was just being very rough, but that's energy. Just like when people cook for you, like, people put love into their food. Don't let nobody cook for you that has an attitude, or like, I believe in that type of energy. If you're gonna give, or if you're gonna be of service, do it with an open, loving, cheerful heart. If you're not gonna have those characteristics when it comes to giving, don't do it. Just don't do it.
Precious, you're a woman out of time. You should have been back in my day, man.
I wish,
you should have been back in my day. I'm serious. Yeah, you should have been back in my day.
I wish.
Because let me say, one of the reasons women, used to know how not to take a gift from a man.
Okay.
If a man giving you something that that this comes with something attached to it, because it's something elegant, something expensive, something that is a little bit awkward for a person that's not in a relationship with you. They used to say, no, that's okay. I can't accept that.
Yeah, there's nothing wrong with that.
But women, they've lost that ability to know.
Women nowadays asking for houses, cars, clothes, down payment on the business. It's like, girl, you didn't even know his real name. Like, come on, can we go?
And then they act like they don't think that there's strings attached to it. That part makes me mad.
Yes.
When they act all naive, they'll think he don't want something in return. That's not how we operate.
In return. Yeah. Don't think that they don't. Okay, even the friendliest of the friendliest. All right, they want something in return. Okay, ain't nothing in life free.
Ain't nothing in life been free except for that walk on the Santa Monica Pier.
No, that cost. Okay, they had lobster.
She was just being a woman. I can't imagine the last time she been out. She must have known. I've been out ways. Nobody has asked me on a date in a coon's age, and now we're going out here. Now she
could be a serial dater, because I think that women who haven't been out in a while don't really have expectations that are like grande, right? It's just like, oh, I haven't been out in a while. Let me just, enjoy the company. Whatever we do. But she broke it down to a T. You know, she was like, you know, it was his idea that we take this walk, and you know, I wanted to ride on rides, but he didn't want to. She was very, very vocal and open about the entire experience. The man said he had vertigo. She was like, "Oh, okay."
So she probably wanted to get on the. They have a Ferris wheel out there.
Oh
So
yeah,
she
they
probably
that's
wanted
the
to
one
get
thing
on
they
that.
do have. You all the way
Yeah.
up there.
And you know, if again, it's okay for her to say, you know what, I didn't quite enjoy the experience. Thank you, but at this time, I'm going to have to pass. I don't think that this is a connection for me, right? And so that's how you end a situation like that. He's obviously not for her, and you know, she's obviously not for him. He wants someone who's just wants simple. Let's go for a walk. Don't ask me for anything extra because I'm not giving it. I thought we had a wonderful time. You know, those who are um who are just stingy with money and things like that, they will convince you that you had a good time and you know you didn't.
That's
Like we had a great time. Like no, we didn't.
that old
And
lady.
it's not even because you didn't spend money. It's not even because you didn't spend money, but a woman can pick
He
up.
spent money though.
What money did
Well,
he
no,
spend?
she didn't necessarily spend money on rides and entertainment. He spent money to eat.
Eat.
So, right. Well, that was going to happen anyway, whether they went.
No, it wasn't.
Well, hold on. They had a little shredded salad of.
Hold on, man. Listen, hold on. Come on, see our pains. Listen, this is how she described it, right? This is how she described it. She wanted the lobster tail, but he said, "No, you're getting this salad."
Yeah, that's right.
And she was okay with that.
And she wasn't okay with it because she got to complain. I bet she got a doggy bag and took it home. But I'm just saying, the fact that.
She probably
but
was
again,
like, "Get out of my face."
I guess I'm so caught up in the age of these people, right? Listen,
you know, she still had expectations. You people, listen, she's an old woman, but she still had expectations. Every woman has expectations.
High expectations from a man who's on a, you know what I'm saying? These people
are those high expectations to go on a couple of rides?
No, listen, let's go walk to see if we like each other first. And you ain't getting no ride. And we only
you coach, man, come on.
We outside, they got free music. We go eat this little
turn
salad.
A woman down from a ride. I know that you're lying.
Man, y'all see why they have problems.
I can see if she was asking for caviar or some shit like that. No, but
still, she wouldn't.
I don't think we're arguing, Coach. I just think that most women have expectations.
They do.
You know, and it's as simple as that. I mean,
what does she Precious? What does she offer? What did she offer in that experience?
What do you mean? What does she offer in the?
What did she bring to that experience? What did she bring? That he did.
Herself.
She wanted.
He experienced,
but that's not good. But that's not good enough, right?
To walk by himself, and then he wouldn't have nobody expecting him to pay for a ride because there wouldn't have been nobody there to try to ask him to go on one. You know, it's like I don't.
He took her to the wrong place. I get
right.
It. He took her to the park where there ain't no rides, ain't no restaurants.
She's not gonna want to swing on the swings, and she's not gonna want to get on the seesaw. But if you take someone to a pier where there are, adults and not just kids there, she's going to want to experience some of the activities that's going on at the pier. Like, where's the disconnect? Like,
man, we talking. I guess the video.
So you would take a woman to a pier and not expect her to not want to experience any of the activities there?
I wouldn't go to a pier. I wouldn't go. I assume this is their first date, right? Their first date, right?
That's like going to a restaurant and saying we're not going to eat. We just want to sit here and talk.
But I'm just saying, I assume that that's their first date, right? So
let's assume that.
I'm not saying she can't get that. I'm not. We can go on a second date after we have established that we like each other. She's vibing with me, then. But we go and see. And this is where
they both got like 6 minutes to live.
I know that's but our pain. What I'm saying is
that sounds like a good movie.
We both got limited. We both have limited income too.
Let me tell you this, man. If I get to 70, 80 years old or something, and I'm married now, so that's the one I'm taking out. But if I was out there on my own and I found a woman who wants to go, the last thing I'm worrying about is how much that chick costs.
But he didn't do
I'm
his
telling you, I mean,
calculations.
maybe there's something wrong with me.
No, you
or
got
something.
big money, Arpane. You got
No,
big
it's
money.
not because I have big
got
money.
big
Yeah,
money.
but let me tell you, when a woman's 80 years, she ain't gonna cost us so much. How much she gonna cost, man? I would have paid for the lobster dinner and everything. I said, me and Mrs. Krusty 1 and Krusty 2, we're out hanging out. We would have been on some rides. I would have been screaming, popcorn flying. I said, listen, I get vertigo. If I throw up on you, I still love you, though, baby. You know, I mean, come on, man. You can't be a crusty dusty, man.
No, man. But
I
that's
don't
who
know.
he
Let me put it
was.
to you, Coach. I didn't think anything she said was too much.
No.
Okay.
I don't think anything, that's just a difference of opinion. I don't think
I get it, but it sounds like the 35 and the 45-year women of the day.
She was a 35-year. That's a good. Okay, go ahead, Pressure.
It's the behaviors. I can see if she's like, no, take me to Dubai. I don't want to go to any here, or you know what I mean. She was okay with the environment. It was just that you put me in an environment that you didn't really
that you didn't want to.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. The location.
Right. So if anything, he could have set the expectation a little bit. Again, he wasn't a cheerful giver. You don't even want to say, even if you did have vertigo, you don't even want to diverse that information that a woman in that moment would say, okay, it makes sense. Like it makes sense that you don't want to go on a ride because you're dizzy.
I gave what I can. Precious only had $100 to the end of the month. You wanted 50. I gave what I can. Let's eat a salad. We don't need to be getting swole. Let's eat a little salad.
Like the fact that he compromised. She was like, I thought that was a great compromise. You know, they had that on the menu. But at the end of the day, I mean, it was rubbery. It's a salad. Like, you know what I mean?
Come on, man.
The protein is not. Like, you know,
lobster salad, that's crazy.
As someone who worked in a restaurant, like I can understand that. But honestly, if they probably went on the rides, I don't think that, she probably would have had a big stink about the food factor of it. Like, I think it would have been like, the lobster was a little rubbery, but we still had an awesome time. Like, we went on the Ferris wheel.
Precious, you either get a ride or you get a salad. Make a choice. I ain't got money for it. I'm just saying, I can understand his situation. He ain't got money for no ride.
He should have picked a different venue then. He should have picked a different
that's why I said a regular old park with some ducks and walk. Then we get a little salad.
Get one of them lakes where you have to pedal,
No, they're too old to paddle, Precious. We ain't doing number sitting. I got vertigo. We gonna sit. We gonna walk to this bench over here.
There were different. I'm sure there had to be other options in California where it could have been a little bit more relaxed, a little bit cheaper, no expectations of money, because it's just I can understand where she's coming from. I can understand where he's coming from, but to me, he's not a cheerful giver, and so he's gonna
date.
He's gonna keep his funds to himself, and if it's not absolutely necessary, he don't see the purpose of letting it go.
Exactly.
All right, so we're gonna move on to this next video. So you guys have heard the expression "death by 1,000 cuts" of people married and things of that nature. So this video, the caption says the argument that ended my marriage, but I wanted to put the actual argument up here because I think a lot of times when you've been married for a while, and I don't know how long they've been married, she looks young. But I've been seeing a lot of videos, when you get married and you have these arguments, they're arguments over little things, they're arguments over things that really don't matter. But you find yourself going back and forth on it. But her caption on this video is the argument that ended my marriage.
No, I'm not gonna do.
Melissa, I come home from work. The house is all dirty. What do you do all day?
I've been working.
Working?
Just because you go into work and I work off my computer doesn't mean anything.
Working? It looks like you haven't been working because the house is all dirty. The dishes are still out. How about you go clean them? Because it's your job.
Those are your dishes.
I don't care. It's your job.
It's not my job. I'm your wife.
The woman.
Ever since we've gotten married, why have you started acting like this?
So he flipped the switch when y'all got married?
The woman, it's your job. You know what? I'm gonna go find another woman. All right?
Go
It
ahead.
doesn't even matter.
Go ahead.
A
I
woman
don't
that
care.
actually does her
I'd rather
job.
be with someone that does 50-50 and doesn't think the
I'll actually
women.
go get someone that does her job.
Okay,
in the
good.
House.
You go find someone. Good,
Like,
good
cleans
luck.
the house
Good
and
luck
does the
finding
dishes.
someone that's gonna put up with your bull.
It's not bull. Now get up. I'll make you do the dishes.
No,
How
you're
about
not
that?
making me do anything.
How about you get up
away
and
from
go
me,
get
Tom.
the dishes?
Don't touch me.
Get up.
No,
and
I'm not gonna.
go do
No,
the
I'm not gonna do
dishes.
anything. Back away from me. I'm
It's your
serious.
job.
It's not my job.
Then get out of my house.
Okay, I will.
Maybe I didn't watch the whole thing. I didn't see that part. So how old y'all think they are?
I want to say
they look like they're in their 20s.
Yeah, right.
25 to
Early 30s.
like 30s.
Say early 30s, yeah.
No, I didn't think
Well-
they look that old. They look like they're in their 20s, but they could be
Well-
early 30s.
What do y'all think
Yeah,
about
late 20s.
that argument? It's like, they both are working. She works from home, and working from home, there are some pros to that because you can get things done. I'm just saying.
Yeah, how long do it take?
You can
Let's
run
be
some errands.
serious. Let's be serious. How long do it take to
Done.
wash some dishes?
But
Yes, if you got a dishwasher, you could put them in the dishwasher. Like,
I don't even use my dishwasher.
Yeah,
I
me
think
neither, Precious.
I was
We
watching
don't
a
use
video
ours.
on that, on how
Yeah.
we were trained to wash dishes, and so because we were trained that way,
I
you
don't
know,
use it either.
I don't use my dishwasher is storage.
but I'm just using that as a reference,
right.
because like, you pop, like if you use the dishwasher, you pop them in there, you go back to, your Zoom meeting or wherever the hell you doing. It don't take that much, and I just think it's the way that he delivered it. You're talking about it's your job and all that. Like, no, you don't have to say it that way. Like, you could be like, "Hey, you work from home. How come I can't come home to a clean house?" Like, you're not, unless obviously we don't know what kind of job she does, so like we don't know what kind of deadline she's under or like what kind of stuff she's doing. But I mean, it don't take much to wash dishes or put a load of clothes in. It ain't like you got to take your computer and walk around with you all day with the camera on.
Okay, I definitely agree with that. Delivery here was off, all the way off. His delivery was just like horrible. I mean, the delivery he gave, you would have thought he was a baby boomer or something. Like he gave a delivery like he'd been on this earth for years and years and years and got grandkids and stuff. His delivery was way off to say that's her job. It seems like it's not something that they really discussed like that. It does seem like he pays all the bills because she said, I would rather go 50-50 with someone, which means she's not going 50-50 present day. However, if that is something that he requires for the household, because I don't even think, I think a lot of people think that men require things just for themselves, but my mom and dad are married, and I think that a lot of the things that my dad requires is not just for him, but it is for the household, because he wants peace in the household. And so my mom doing the things that she did and now still does creates peace in the household, even with me and my brother not being there. However, he's never been like, there's dishes in the sink and it's your job to wash them. Why haven't you done X, Y, and Z? Not anything I've ever seen before. So his delivery definitely was way off. Like that's just not how you move a woman to get what you want her to get done at all.
Yeah, but his delivery it's really secondary to the issue, if you ask me.
Okay.
It was bad, it was wrong, but it's secondary. Yeah, like I said, the real key is they didn't talk about all the things they needed to talk about.
Yeah.
Right. It doesn't matter whether he's paying the bills or what kind of job. I don't know if they had kids or not. I don't think they let us know that. You can't tell it. One of the things I think men need to do, if you have your woman and you're both working, and whether you're paying all the bills or not, you have to set the expectation of what you want from her before y'all get into that relationship. And if she switches on you, then that's a different story. But let's just say we had it straight. They didn't. I always thought it was best that, we had certain designated days where we just all did the cleaning, right? My man cave, my wife didn't have to clean that. I did. My office, my wife doesn't have to clean my office. I clean. That kind of stuff. So my wife didn't have to wash my clothes because we were on a different time clock. I washed my own clothes, and my kids were able to use the machine safely. They washed their own clothes. So I mean, those are the kind of things you should. And my wife didn't have a real full-time job like that, where she should just be the cleaners and we dirty it up and she cleans it up. And I know we all should chip in and keep the house as nice as we possibly can, no matter what you do. So I think most people, that's why we get into these conversations on these panels, who should cook and clean and all that. I didn't need my wife to be my cook. If we have kids, then you take the lead because you're going to be with them. You got to make sure they feed. I like to cook. And I didn't have, but when I was working hot and heavy, I didn't do it as much as I do now. But I'm just saying, he was wrong. His delivery was wrong. But I don't think whatever he would have said would have changed her mind.
Right.
I don't think whatever she just thought that. I'm gonna end it. I just think that she didn't think that was her job. But here's where I think he didn't pick the right woman, because at some point, as a woman, you should just be disgusted that there's dirty dishes in the sink. A little bit more than your man.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? And if you're not, then so I don't know. His delivery was wrong, but I think they have a larger issue.
Yeah, I mean, she did say that, ever since we got married, you've changed. And so maybe their expectations going in it were just different from the start.
Well,
and
they didn't discuss them.
They never had conversations surrounding it. And so now, I mean, work could have pissed him off. Like something could have made him mad that now he's bringing that energy into the house, so much so that she feels like she has to record it. And it seemed like they were parting ways after that. But I definitely agree with you, Arpain. There's definitely a communication block or issue there, because to say it's your job, I don't care if you've been home all day. Again, I do believe that you can get things done while you're at home, but if there is no expectation set, then there's not going to be an expectation met.
Like, exactly.
You can't really fight for things that you haven't really put on the table as being things that are up in the air for discussion. And so I don't know. I think he just really came out of left field with that. What you got, Coach Ferg?
Yeah, what you got, Coach? Yeah, what's up?
Salute to the black folk who I guess in relationships like that, because these white people was clearly doing a skit.
Yeah,
but it says a lot, what I'm saying, where people are in relationship, because y'all both spoke about the communication, right? And this is, people just don't. I would just think about, like, was she working at home before we met? Did I come over her house after work on my way home and saw that she had dirty dishes and had all these red flags, and I still married her? Yeah, now I bring you money. But people are who they are before you meet them. But you do change. But if you focused on your relationship, your marriage, then you're changing for the better.
Right.
My wife works at home. My wife still loves to cook after work. Matter of fact, she's cooking. Wow, she's she's multitasking. I love a woman that can multitask, because I multitask. And the fact that he's coming home, and what frustrating him is that he's coming home. He has work that he needs to complete, but when you come home and your house is raggedy, you know what I'm saying? And this is, I love old school parents, right? I love coming up with my mother and father, because when we all became of age, I don't know what age they made us work around the house and clean up behind ourselves and do things, chores like that. But when all of us was teenagers, my parents didn't do no work around the house. But our house stayed clean. My mother wasn't washing clothes. She wasn't cleaning out no bathtub. She wasn't doing nothing but getting some groceries, and whipping that stuff up for us to eat. And we wasn't making no special damn, and we could have did that, but it was the structure, like, you gonna eat some of this, whatever's in this pot, and you're gonna like it. Because she cooked it out of love, because she wanted to cook it. My mother loved cooking. Her Thanksgiving spread, when I look at these little people on YouTube, I was like, they got that shit on my mama. Because I ain't never seen my mother read no instructions, and I ain't never seen her grab a box except from the dry goods. That's it. And she used to whip up everything from desserts to the main course. My father, I ain't seen that nigga lift a shovel.
Me either.
But he worked all my life. But best believe I know how to shovel. Best believe I know how to put it. But I was given those tools by my parents, even my sisters, right? They'll tell you, I can't cook like my mama. They got one dish. And the fact that when you're in a home, like I said, if you're working and you communicate, because we all lay down with our lover, wife, the modern word that y'all use, partner. I ain't got no damn partner. But when you lay your head on that pillow and we talking about our next day, future, the gas needs some car, car needs some gas, kids need a little haircut, you know what I'm saying, need some shoes. Everything that needs to be done should be within that huddle. It should be within that huddle. And when people get together, you don't think forward about the completion of the family. That's where you start having these problems. And I think a lot of people are so focused on the problem of what the other person ain't doing instead of just having a real conversation. We talk, and I'll shut up. Black folk, 99.999% of us hate to be wrong. We hate to be, even if it's doing something wrong, we still, no, but see, you got to help me out because I'm at home all day eating chips and playing with my video games and might get on YouTube, but I ain't got time to take care of our home. But I'm coming home, a man will put his check in the bank and not even really, you know what I'm saying? If he's in tune with it, he won't even calculate the spending of the home in his head because the house got to be taken care of. My check is a part of it. And then in this modern person, people, the parents are more selfish to focus on the family, the home. But here we are, precious. 3 a.m. What y'all gonna do about it? Because those are y'all peers. Those are y'all single men and women that y'all gotta get to conform to this type of life. And I'll shut up. Just a little thought. Think about it.
I agree with what you said with as far as working, old school. That's how, a household that I grew up in. Once you heard that music on Saturday morning, you up and cleaning. My mom, I bet not see a follicle of hair anywhere, or you doing it over again. Seriously, that's how my mom was. My mom was military. It was just like, no, we gonna get this right. We're gonna get it correct. I don't care how many times you got to do it.
There you go. Military never fails.
Yeah, and a lot of people are not necessarily raised like that. You know what I mean? And so these things aren't. And this was me and my brother. So me and my brother were washing dishes. Me and my brother were folding clothes, putting them in the wash machine. There was no delegation to, oh, you're the girl, you're the boy. He would mow the grass, I would do the edging. Like, you know what I mean? It was a team effort all the way around. And so I don't think those values are necessarily at the top of the totem pole nowadays. And I think that parents do a lot for their kids or allow their kids to not do those things. And so when you get into relationships, and like I said, like we said, they look pretty young. When you get into those relationships, something like that could be important for him, but her is just like, look, whoever wash the dishes at night. It wasn't necessarily a woman's job, or it wasn't necessarily her mom who probably was a wife. It wasn't necessarily their job. And I think we talked about this before, that when you get into a relationship, you have to be equal. So you have to, like, those values have to be there, right? You can't be with someone who is lazy and you a go-getter. Like, it's just, you're going to be mad the entire relationship because they don't share that same value of hustle like you do. You can't be with someone who is, a neat freak and then someone that just lays a sneakers and socks all over the place. That's why when you go to college, they give you these surveys and they ask you, they try to pair you with someone who is very similar to you. Are you a morning person? Are you a night person? Do you, like loud music? Or like they ask you, I forget what the questions were in there, but I remember when I went away to college, they gave us this questionnaire so they can partner you with the best roommate, that you'll be compatible with. And so it's the same thing when you're getting into relationships with people. It's like you got to see how people live, you got to see how they were raised, and what's really important, or how they were raised, and the things and the routines that they had in their households. Because when you start to learn those things after you're married, it might not turn out well. you might be going to get that annulment, or you know what I mean. You might do a good year or two, and then you're like, okay, I don't know you, or you don't know me. And I think that's definitely important. So that communication before you say I do is very important. Meeting, family, and checking around the house, and like, you know what I mean, being observant, like those things are important. Very, 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 very important. Good evening, Mr. Darwin. How are you?
What's going on? What the heck is y'all talking about?
Well, we just got done a video. Where is it here? Of a woman who says this is the argument that ended their marriage. I'll play it, and then we can you'll give your 2 cents on it. Then we'll move on to the main video of the show, because I thought that one was pretty interesting. All right. So the argument that ended my marriage.
Get up.
No, I'm not gonna
do
no,
the
I'm not gonna do
dishes. Melissa, I come home from work. The house is all dirty. What do you do all day?
I've been working.
Working?
Just because you go into work and I work off my computer doesn't mean anything.
Working? It looks like you haven't been working because the house is all dirty. The dishes are still out. How about you go clean them, because it's
dishes?
your job?
Those are your dishes.
I don't care. It's your job.
It's not my job. I'm
You
your
are
wife.
the woman.
Ever since we've gotten married, why have you started acting like this?
You are the woman. It's your job. You know what? I'm gonna go find another woman, all right?
Go
It
ahead.
doesn't even matter.
Go ahead. I don't
that
care.
actually does
I'd
her
rather
job.
be with someone that does 50-50 and doesn't think the
I'll actually
women.
go get someone that does her job.
Okay,
in the
good.
house.
You go find someone. Good,
Like,
good
cleans
luck.
the house
Good
and
luck
does the
finding
dishes.
someone that's gonna put up with your bull.
It's not bull. Now get up. I'll make you do the dishes.
No,
How
you're
about
not
that?
making me do anything.
How about you
Maybe he'd be watching too much YouTube. I don't know.
get up
away
and
from
go
me,
get
Tom.
the dishes?
Don't touch me.
Get up.
No,
and
I'm not gonna.
go do
No,
the
I'm not gonna do
dishes.
anything. Back away from me.
It's
I'm
your
serious.
job.
It's not my job.
Then get out of my house.
Okay, I will.
Get out of my house. That probably is his house too. Her name probably not nowhere there on that deed nowhere. Yeah. So Darren, what you think?
I think that's a trap that a lot of men are falling into. They think that if they sign up for a 50-50, they can still impose other duties around the house on a woman that they take as a wife without setting those expectations before she sign up. I don't think I'm just being honest with you. I don't see a lot of women signing up for that kind of deal. And it's a matter of men not being caught up with the way that things evolve. You want a woman's full cooperation and submission, but you want her to bring in half of the resources, and then and then take the toll of cleaning everything up and duties around the house. Is just a lot of women are just done with that. They're communicating that they don't like that, and men are ignoring that. So then when you get in a situation like that, you just got to break up the family instead of just knowing that that's not what they willing to sign up for. Don't even get in marriage with them. If you know what I'm saying? If y'all are, this is a matter of communication right there. That's just simple communication. What do you expect me to do since I got to work remote? I still expect you to do it. Oh, well, then I'm not doing it. You can avoid all of that. But, people, it's just a matter of men just imposing the gender norms, even though the economics is balanced out. I mean, if this guy was a sole provider, and I would be like, what the fuck is she think she doing? You know what I mean?
Well, I think, okay, so you heard the 50-50 comment and you assume that they're going 50, like they're presently going 50.
No, she also stated that she worked remote. Just because you go out to work and I work remote doesn't mean I got to take care of the house. She
Well,
said she was working.
right. But that doesn't mean that she necessarily contributes to the household. When I heard the 50-50 comment, is she said, I can go be with someone else and go 50-50 with them, whereas they don't, feel like the woman has to do X, Y, and Z. So to me, it sounded like, and I could be wrong, you could be wrong.
She
To me, it
was
sounded like,
saying that I can go be with somebody else who would do 50-50 and not feel like I got to do the housework. But she's already in a 50-50 situation, but he feels like she still got to do the duty. She says she can go get a different 50-50 guy that don't push her into the duty.
Okay. I interpreted it different, meaning.
Yeah, that's what it is. It's a 50-50 situation. She worked remote. She getting a check.
Play it again.
So so a lot of guys are gonna have to wake up to that. Like, do you really want that scenario? If you don't want that scenario, don't put her to work. Or you deal with a woman who's willing to, which is rare to find. A woman who's willing to work around the clock and then clean up the house and your dirty drawers and shit. That's a diamond. That's a needle in a haystack to find. And I don't even know if she'll stay that long if she get hold to a friends group. And they find out, what you doing? What you going to work? You paying these bills? And you? Oh, hell no. You have a kid on that too? Oh. That argument gonna get dangerous.
I think that
the only pushback I have, Darwin, is it doesn't matter whether it's 50-50. They should have had a conversation on who's going to be doing what anyway. I don't think going 50-50 with a woman, especially these days, to try to live a decent life means that the woman is absolved from doing any housework. I mean, I don't believe that. But I mean, his approach was
it's not based on individual belief.
Let me just finish. I don't think that traditions should be completely thrown out of the window because you have to pay some bills as a woman. I think that's crazy. But the point really is that the traditions that a man shouldn't do housework is the problem. Right?
You threw a tradition out when you made the woman work.
Well, hold on for a second. Let's bring it up to where we are now. Most people have to go on work. Most people have to live off of 2 salaries to have a decent life. Maybe you're working to where you only have to pay the bills, and that's great. But even when you pay all the bills, your expectations still have to be tempered with the conversation you have with your spouse. Because because mostly I paid all with it, but I didn't come home and told my wife that, now that I pay the bills, you got to do all this shit. There's a way to get women to do the shit that you need them to do. It's not just because it's quid pro quo because I'm paying all the bills. I told my wife, if I'm paying all the bills, we're going to live as a family according to what I could afford, even if you have a job. Because if shit hits the fans, it's going to be on me to keep us upright. So I don't rely on your money, right? Even if you have some, but I still don't want to be, expect that if there's an extra dish in the sink, you're going to leave it there because we got to discuss who's going to clean it. Come on. I mean,
what the conversation that my parents had, because my mom worked for her a little bit. And then I remember being in school, and then my mom was just home all the time. And then later on, I realized she was a stay-at-home mom. I remember my dad going back to school. And so getting older, I realized he went back to school to make more money, to bring more money into the school. And so I wonder what their conversation was like, because my dad didn't lift a finger, and especially when me and my brother appeared in the picture, we were adopted. And so I was 9, my brother was 8, and we were trained to do all the household work and things of that nature. My dad did not lift a finger, probably for that remote to watch football on Sunday.
Where was this?
When my mom became a stay-at-home mom, because even when she was working, she did those things. She cooked, she laundry, all of those. But I wonder what how the conversation went down when they decided that she would then be a stay-at-home mom. Obviously she agreed to it, right? Like, she did everything to make the household and my dad and us comfortable. But I really wonder how that conversation went, because these are conversations that you have to have, and you really you can't move further without the consent, right? You can't move further without someone without both of you actually agreeing to it.
Well, based off of the dynamic, what do you think the conversation went like?
Well, you don't have to work anymore. We have these kids, and your job is now going to be the woman of the home, making sure chores get done and the kids are taken care of, and they got things at the school. That's the role that she played. But again, not played, but she's been in. But she did work at some point in time. So, was it okay, you'll work up until, the kids get into whatever grade? I just, sometimes you just want to be a fly on the wall to see how people actually do work it out. If it does work for them, as opposed to like this, where you don't have the communication, and now y'all are just like barking at each other, and you probably are really not going to come to a resolve.
But that's the key, Precious, is the communication. And for every couple, it's a case by case basis. There's no cookie cutter way to do it. Mm-hmm. When I got married, my wife was working. She had a decent job too. Mm-hmm. But there was just some natural things she cleaved to. But maybe that's because of the time we were in. But I didn't have to tell. But we had a conversation. I already said it before Doran came up here. It was only a 4-year period where I paid all the bills.
Okay.
Right. Mm-hmm. So the first, she was working a lot, but when we came home, she wanted to cook. She told me, "Hey, my mother cooked for my father. I'm cooking for you." And the first time she messed up my hamburgers, I said, "Well, we gotta talk about it." But she washed the dishes. She did those things. I took out the garbage. It didn't matter whether I worked all day. Then we had designated days where we cleaned the house together. Right? Like I had my designated spots and she had hers. I made sure we had the house that we shared, and we had different things that were our things to clean. So it was an easy transition. And so when she stopped working and the kids were coming, she just kept doing the things she was doing before. And it was easy, it was easy. So, and for the most part, no matter, even when she was working, all the bills, I paid all the bills anyway. Okay. Right? She had to put her money in her 401k plan. That was the plan. She listened to me. So that's what she did. And whatever else, the money she needed for cosmetic shit, she paid for because she was working. You want a new dress? You want this perfume? You want to do your hair, get your nose done, your teeth? You didn't have to come for me to do that. Mm-hmm. Right? Mm-hmm. She did that. But for my situations, anecdotal, somebody else's, but we had the communications that made it work. So I never had to come and say, "This is your job. This is my job." Our job was to keep out. Her job was really just to make the house feel like a home. Mm-hmm. Right?
And I think it is important, for parents to kind of pass down, and it's not for their kids to actually do what they did, but I think that parents should communicate with their children when they become of a certain age of how things were able to run like a well-oiled machine in your household, because one day you are going to be out here. Most times you're probably going to do what's closest to what you saw growing up in your household. That's most people usually do that.
But Precious, you said something unique, right? Because you speak about your situation, right? Me growing up with my parents, 5 girls in the house and 2 boys, it wasn't like they was explaining to us what they discussed about us being able to take care of responsibility. It's all age appropriate. Mm-hmm. That's the thing. That's the good benefit. It's all age appropriate, because as a 13, 14, if you're getting information from your parents, we don't keep a nasty house. What that mean? You got to learn how to clean up. You're going to wash your little dirty tail. What that mean? Daddy might have to come in there and show you how to grab it, motherfucker, and get it clean. It's a teaching lesson in the moment, right? But I grew up in a time where parents, they understood. They gave it to you, but they didn't spend 3 days trying to make sure you got it. And I'll say this, right? Because when it comes to the older generation before me, Black women have always been able to work, and they held tradition. They cleaned white women's houses since the end of slavery. They always worked. They had to go outside, rain, sleet, or snow, and come home and take care of the slow kids. And daddy might get home a little late. It was a balance. Father is supposed to get passed down. When the kid is 13, 14, they want to go all the places and do all the things. There has to be some earning potential within that time frame. What, you want to go here on the game on Friday? You should have good grades. You should have clean clothes. Mama shouldn't have to do your load for you. And I'll say this, my mother worked until all of us were 13. I think my youngest sisters, they 2 years younger than me. So once they became 12, 13, my mother stopped working. Our house never missed a beat as far as 2 cars, going here. By the time, I'll say my sophomore year, I remember this, we were pretty much on our own. We had to be responsible for washing clothes. My mother would give me a couple $100 to go shopping. She wasn't doing all that holding hand with us. We get our own rides, things like that. Today, we want to think that kids and young folk can't do it. And then when a woman like, damn, I'm running behind these slow kids. But again, this is us trying to handicap the future, then say, why they don't know nothing? Because at age, and I get you was a shock baby. You're like, hold up, I'm coming over here, I got to do all this? Yes. You would have learned that at age 4 and 5 if it was the other, you know what I'm saying? If you was into that situation, you'd have been talking about, I used to have my room so clean. My mama came in there, my room so clean one day. She's like, how you learn how to do it? Because you learn by watching. It was rooms you couldn't go into. Now that kids go any damn where. All it, you know what I'm saying? Stay out of that room with the plastic on the couch. They didn't move nothing either. You didn't come over, you was well trained. You didn't go over touching little precious item. But today we like, it ain't that serious until they break your shit. Now we crying. But it's just a different way of parenting, man. We just soft. The boys of the future gonna be soft. The girls gonna be a little wild and beating up the boys. That ain't gonna never stop.
All right. Well, they have some communicating to do for sure.
All I can say is that I hear a lot of people saying that using, hey, look, our mamas, our great mothers, our great grandmothers used to work. Man, to me it's just disgusting. They worked. They went to go raise the white woman's kids and shit. But I guarantee you, those white men, when they women worked, they worked at the moms and pop stores, the family businesses, while our wives was working for their households, which is I think it's a form of systemic oppression, so to speak, on a socioeconomic level. We wasn't able to work for our own selves in our business. Of course, we had to go work for the white people and take out their trash and rear their kids while they was at work, because that's just how it was. It don't mean that's what we gotta do now. Me, just is just my own opinion, unpopular. It may be popular, but I told my wife she wasn't gonna work if she was gonna be with me. It wasn't nothing that, she could. That's just how it was gonna be. And if you didn't want to be down, then you just weren't gonna be together. I don't believe in my wife being submissive to somebody that's greater than me. Me personally, I feel like when a woman has a boss, that's who she submit to. If you call your wife while she at work and you tell her, hey, I need you home, I don't care what reason it is, she's got to tell you that she's got to ask her boss. But when her boss calls your wife while you at home on the couch with her and say, I need you at work, she's not going to tell her boss. She got to ask her husband. She's going to tell her husband, I got to go. That's who has the overall authority over your wife. It's whatever revenue she's generating. And women are teaching this in real time. And whenever they can get enough money to provide their own lifestyle, they probably won't be a mother and they probably won't be a wife. So choosing a man is a matter of stability or survival or dependency or desperation in some cases. But yeah, man, like I said in that one video, you got to communicate all these things. But if you're going to have a woman working, and you got an expectation that you're going to just be the override and say so, then you're going to get hit with a different reality these days with these women. Maybe the women back then, I would argue that the women back then wouldn't have put up with a lot of shit today too. They just couldn't open up accounts. But the moment they could have opened up bank accounts and work, you saw a lot of shit happening. A lot of changes. And they knew you had a whole family down the street. Oh yeah, they was waiting on this moment.
Yeah,
so it ain't a matter of a matter of the women were different. Women were the same damn women they are today. They just fucking opened up the floodgates. And now you get to see women how they truly were, with all the limitations and restrictions pulled away. If they would have pulled all them same limitations and restrictions back in the 50s and 60s, we got the same damn women.
Okay. Well, look, he said the expectation.
Because I'm telling you, when a woman can see an easy way, a woman where she ain't got to be challenged, where she ain't got to listen, I don't care if you go back any time during history. It wasn't like a certain decade took place. It just warped the woman's mind, or they put some shit in the water. No, the woman always had a mind to want to work around authority and not have to listen. The moment she got the freedom to do that and she got to fund her own lifestyle, she was going to do it. And that's what took place. So now you got a lot of men that, I'm telling you, you got a lot of men that ain't getting no play, ain't getting no wife, and it's a polygyny going on around closed doors.
So you mean tell me the whole future gonna be gay or polygamous? Polygamous gonna be a bunch of gay sissies and polygamous people walking around here, because that's what it's gonna come to. They either gonna want each other
you need to
or
look outside today. It ain't about what it's gonna be.
Oh, well, damn.
If we can look at the facts, and you can deduce that most of the people that are born are coming from the same group of men or a small group of men, then that's polygyny. It just ain't legalizing, it ain't normalizing. There's a lot of pride that's stopping people from admitting it. And then you see a lot of flamboyant men and women coming around here with rainbow flag. All of the stuff you just said is already taking place today.
Yeah, I see it. Yeah, I agree. But we talking 10, 15 years down the road.
10, 15 years down the road is going to be worse.
Most people born of that time ain't got a chance. Is that what you're saying? The future is doomed.
I mean, if you introduce AI, when they got this thing called AGI, artificial general intelligence, is supposed to take off a massive load of jobs, which is going to, again, turn back the dependency on women on men. The men who still working in those coal mines and shit, they're going to keep those jobs. All those jobs that stabilize the infrastructure, those are going to be the winners. All of these jobs that people got, these women are getting to stabilize themselves, they're going to take it away, and they're going to have to go back to depending on men.
Yeah.
And it's going to reset everything else.
It's coming in 2028, man.
Hey, listen, I mean, the point really is not an argument that it's society that, the way I look at it, the nature of a woman hasn't really changed. It's their freedoms that they have that have changed with society. Traditions are born by governors that govern the way your morality is. Shame was a governor that went away. Religion was a governor that went away. There was just certain things. Virtue was a governor that went away where it was important. But women weren't captured back in the day. Some women were very comfortable protecting their virtue, right? And they didn't do it just because they couldn't open a bank account. You know what I'm saying? And so the women today have been unleashed because they have no governors. But men, the way they're changing in the governance didn't really change men. Our nature has been the same. We didn't have that real big swing like women have. So men do have to adjust. And I think if men adjust to the way women are today, then that's why society is going to get destroyed. But men should stay traditional and keep weeding out the chicks until they find one who could fit on their program, right? And that's all communication. So if a woman is working, and stuff like that, she might want some more autonomy. But if she wants the guy who's in front of her, she's got a choice to make. And here's the problem. There's not too many men, black, white, or indifferent, who in this day and age and economy, who has enough money to just say, listen, honey, just stay home. Unless they could tell her and convince the woman that some of the niceties in life you're going to have to forego because I want a traditional home. And that's the conversation that has to be truthful. If you make 200 grand, depending on where you live, you can still be tight if you're in Midtown, New York, right? And if you're in Podunk, West Virginia, they don't have salaries like that.
Yeah.
So there's always give and take. And it always comes down to conversation. It's what the woman wants is what you want from a woman and what she's willing to agree to. But you can't tell a woman, you can tell them that if you don't want your woman to work, which I kind of agree with, if she doesn't have to, then she has to also realize that she's got to live under the purview that you set, the umbrella you set. My wife worked for the church. Once she was out of work and then she went back, that's for the church she was born into. The reason why that was cool because it was maximum flexibility. When I needed her or the kids needed her, she could leave. It was never really a full-time kind of thing, and she's still there today. So I kind of agree with Darwin from that standpoint that, if your wife is working for some high-powered job, you are acquiescent to some of
it gotta be high power.
Huh?
It ain't gotta be a high power.
Well, I mean, a demanding job where she's got to answer to her boss or
every job you got to answer to your boss.
Well, yeah, but sometimes you can supersede that depending on what the job is if you really don't need it. So the point really is, you got some good points there. But let me ask you this though, brother. How many men can demand that the woman that they want to cleave to and have families could say, hey, listen, I don't need your money?
Any man can do that.
You might be a successful guy to do that. But
I ain't got to be successful.
Well, give me a percentage of the average guy.
Any man can do that. We seen men come over here crossing a border in an alligator filled fucking swamps, come over here with their whole families and do it.
Okay, you think
you gotta make this notion that you got to make a lot of money? That's a matter of taste, entitlement, and materialism. There's people that can make it. You can make anything happen. You can go to a place or a cost of living that's affordable, and you can make it happen. You don't got to make 100, 200,000 to be able to take care of no woman.
Okay, so listen, I hear you. You also have to find somebody in any relationship. You got to find somebody who agrees with what you're saying.
So the question should have been what woman would agree with it, not what man can do it. Any man can do it. It's just a matter of what woman can agree to it.
Yeah, that's it. That's it.
So whenever you got women out here that can go create their own lifestyle, like I said, all of the traditions, none of the traditions went anywhere. They just rejected them.
Hey, I agree.
The traditions is still here. They just denied them. So it's a matter of what leverage do you have? What leverage does she have? If she can go leverage her own lifestyle, if she can go have her own lifestyle, and she don't want to live in no rinky-dink apartment or whatever, and if you can't level up from there, and she feel like she can go get it somewhere else, and it just ain't your time.
You still haven't answered the question, all right? You're talking about these traditions.
I did answer the question. You said how many men, and I said any man.
But what, brother? How many percentage of men going to find a woman?
100% of men. If you able to work, you can be able to get a woman to get on your program.
Why are you coming up here?
At some point, that not at 25, 30.
I just answered the question.
No, you didn't. No, you didn't.
I said any man.
You did not, man. You trying to be evasive. I'm talking about right now in today's society with the way women are. If you didn't meet them as 18 years old, they're 30 years old. You're going to say now, you're going to live in a hovel with me because I don't want you to work nowhere. Some women will say yes, and some women will say no. But what percentages are we talking about?
Okay, so you changing the question because the original question was how many men can take care of a woman. I said any man.
50 grand a year. So we're going to go
how many women would agree with it. So you changed it.
Hold on, wait. That's bullshit, man. You got to make some money. You not answering the question the way you want to.
What is the question?
The point, brother, is if you want to find a woman in this modern era, you got to convince her. If you ain't making enough money, that she's got to down-tone her lifestyle to be your goddamn wife. And how many men are going to be able to do that? How many women are going to agree with it? And if it's a process of elimination, it's not going to be many.
Well, first of all, there's no way to quantify that because it's not a current study that takes place. That is something that is
here and say women are loose.
It's not a matter of how many. It's about the caliber or the type of man. If you giving me 100 men and all of them have charisma or a certain socioeconomic status, I would say 100% of men. But it's really disingenuous to try to answer a question like that because we don't have nobody tested any data to say how many men can pull it off. It's all about what type of man are you,
brother? You're making an assertion.
But if you give me that these women like the man, I would argue that any man that a woman likes, she is willing to lower her standards. She's willing to break the law. She's willing to do some of the nastiest shit for the man she likes. And there's proof of that. So if granted the woman likes the man, any man can pull it off. If she like you, I mean, Precious can agree to that. If she like you,
but she don't really have no standards.
She gonna do whatever.
That's really no. Let me ask Darwin this question though, right? Because he's speaking from like any man can, but right. I don't think any of us at 24, 25 was that man. I don't give a damn what y'all niggas say. You was either in the army, in the school, you was building to be that man. So as a man, as mature age, I agree. You should be on some path to be a better version of man, not for a woman, for yourself. Because at some point it'll all come to a head when you start choosing the woman that you want to be with. She's gonna look at, especially if you're a peer, somebody 35, 40, we the same age. Hey, nigga, what you doing? I can understand that.
Y'all giving women too much credit.
No, but you're talking about a time.
Like you,
hold on.
If Pookie approach her and she like Pookie, she gonna give Pookie baby.
But she gonna give Pookie a baby, but she ain't building nothing with that, right? And the dude
we don't know what they're gonna do. All we know is that if
seeing the result,
look, I need you to come with me.
We do know what they're gonna do.
Like him, she going.
We do know what they're gonna do.
We see the result. They've been doing it in real time.
We don't have this conversation 100 times on the piece. If the woman like a man, I don't give a damn who he is. He can be a
agreeing with that.
She gonna go lay down with him. She going with him because she like him. I'm telling you, when a woman
but we never disagree with that. We never disagree with that. But he ain't that nigga though. He's the.
Precious is speaking.
There really isn't a high percentage of men who are going to take on the full responsibility of taking over, the woman being able to work and he being the sole provider for the household and given, because I still believe that a man has to give a woman something to do. If she's not going to work as a man, you still should be giving your wife something to do, whether that is raising the kids, whether that is bringing in money a different type of way. A lot of women, wife, mom, all of that, but you can birth things other than children. Like, we have many gifts, and so I think that's where a man comes into play to say, no, I don't want you working that corporate job, but you do have this gift and this is going to be our plan and you're going to raise the kids and but if you do want to indulge in this gift that you have, then we're going to have to wait till here or fit it in here, or I think that men, if you're going to offer that type of lifestyle, which a lot of men don't necessarily do because of today's economy, a man would probably prefer a woman work. But if you're going to offer that type of lifestyle, then you have to give her a job. And most times,
there's a reason why he preferred a woman to work, though. It's because of the lifestyle and the things and the material things and all the things she wants. If women came into the union or into the conversation, we're like, hey, like whatever you got already, I'm cool with that. A man would take that. But it's all of the things, the other shit she wants. She's seeing the purses. She's seeing the women down the street walking around with and all these Instagram pictures about all this traveling and shit. And that's what she wants. That's what's causing the men today not to be able to be providers. Is because of the taste, the thirst for all of these things.
Well, yeah.
If we can pull it off, it's just that we gotta. These women are making men acquiesce to a lifestyle, or is if you want my full cooperation, it comes with a price. And if she got to pay 50-50 coming in it, and you expect this woman to give you a
50-50 term is just that's just an internet term. It's really stupid. We got
whatever you want to
we
call
gotta
it. We can change it for you. If she got to pay significant bills and she coming into a union and you want 100%
wants to be with you, I
that.
agree that if a woman likes you, she's going to be with you. But let's be real, man. I mean, if you didn't meet her when she was 2 years old, she wants things, and everything she wants is not untoward. You know, so if I meet a woman, I'm 30 years old, she's 28, she has expectations. If she likes me, I'm gonna say this is how we're gonna live. She can say yes or no. If she says yes, then you're right. We live under what I could afford, where we afford, and she's gonna have to go with that. And listen, you know, there's a lot of women who like dudes, but they still have limits. At some point, they might have limits. But just because a woman might have expectations that you can't afford doesn't make it a bad situation. She's just got to agree that she's not going to have that. If she agrees with that, then I can take it. But a lot of women ain't agreeing to anything. So let's get down to the fact that we're going to have a fewer marriages because a woman ain't going to really. Most women today ain't agreeing to a man if he can't afford the basics. If he can't afford the basics of life, unless they live in a hovel, she's going to say no.
My point. I said earlier in the 40s and 50s and 60s, the women would have done the same shit, not agree to the lifestyle, not agree to live in the slums with these niggas if they can go out and make their own.
But you're making assumptions, though. You're making assumptions. We're talking the noun is nothing.
Y'all ain't listening to what I'm saying. The reason why I talked about the 40s, 50s, and 60s is because they didn't have the means to be able to go and create their own individual stability. You're seeing in play that women are able to create their stability. Okay. So now you got to negotiate whether they want to get under your program under a lower salary versus back then they had dependency. They had to survive. I'm saying if these women back then had the same rights and access to employment and being able to go and educate themselves and go into careers and create their own stability, you would have saw it then.
Well, listen, nobody's.
You would have saw it back then. The women ain't no different. Y'all are arguing the women is the same as she was yesterday, today, and tomorrow.
You saying the women ain't no different?
1958.
They ain't no different, bro. They would have ran circles around y'all. If they would have been there, if they would have had liberation in, they would have been throwing ass back then.
That you don't know about. I was back there. All my aunts worked. They didn't have to be with their husbands.
And what they was doing? What were they doing at Freak Nick? It was all coming out.
Hold on, man. You was a kid. That was back in the 90s. That wasn't 30 years ago. That was kids. That was young college kids out there wilding out. We talking about.
Y'all making my point. Listen,
but most of those women.
You gotta account for the law and the rights and all of that stuff and the movements that came in that ushered into this evolution of people, bro. You gotta account for that.
Darwin, if you were gonna come up here and
if all of these movements took place back then, bro, the women would be doing the same shit. That's my argument. My argument is that with movements, with rights, with permission to go and be equal or compete with men, you're gonna get a different breed of women. It's just the truth. That's why you're seeing how things play out.
Why don't we talk about the time zone we're in? Where women
I am talking about the time zone.
Yeah, but you keep talking about the past too.
But I'm doing it. Do you know what context am I? What context am I talking? What context am I using the past in?
Right now want their freedom.
Mr. Payne, do you even know the context on why I'm using the past? To make my argument today.
You keep talking about the 40s.
Let me ask Precious then, because I think you just talking past me. Precious,
do you understand why I'm pointing
at the past in correlation to the argument I'm making today?
Repeat it one more time.
Do you know the reason why I'm using the past to make an argument that I'm making today?
You're saying that the women of today, if they existed back, what?
60? No, I'm not talking. I'm saying if the women back then had the same leisure,
liberty,
the same rights, the same access to compete with men for careers and individual stability, we would have saw all this stuff that we're struggling with between men and women in this climate. We would have saw it happening back then. I'm arguing against the thing that our grandmothers were built different. They were different. They had different mentalities. you have to compensate for the restrictions they had. Because I'm telling you, those women, their grandmother that knew your motherfucking ass had a whole family down the street. If they knew that they can get out of that situation, they would have got out of it if it was until when no fault divorce hit. I'm telling you, I talked to the lead attorney. A lot of fucking shit changed. When women start opening up a bank account, they was lined up at banks. They was lined up at attorney's office filing for divorces and shit so they can go and get in their career.
Yeah, but that was part of the trick.
Mindset was already there. It's just we had restrictions. They didn't have rights. They didn't have all these things for them. I'm telling you. That's why y'all sleeping on the pot. When you study what all these movements did for these women, bro, you'll be able to connect the dots on why they were just sitting there taking that shit. And then when you look at all of the shit that was relieved of, the things they had access to, like, okay,
so you came up here to
saw this shit coming when we let these women out the gate.
You can't. Nobody's arguing.
But we had no control of that. You and y'all
arguing that. That was my whole argument.
Nobody's arguing that.
Well, that's good. Then we can conversate about something else. That was my argument.
You talking about you over talking everybody just you. So you giving as good as you take it. Listen, back then, which I was there, yeah, women were tied, but everybody was tied under the mores and the traditions of the past. Not just women. Right. The birth control pill changed more than anything else. When they could have sex without worrying about pregnancy. So I mean, nobody disagrees that once they got unleashed, they wanted different things. That's fine. So they moved into where they are.
That was my argument is that they wanted different things before that.
Let me finish. We're in 2026. We got all these free women that have no governors on them. Okay, so you're a man who wants a traditional woman or a woman of the past because you want to tell her that you're going to live under my.
I didn't say I wanted a woman of the past.
You're going to live under my roof, my rules, right? You want to
talking about what I'm talking about.
You telling a modern woman today you're going to live under my roof and my rules, and you can't work. All this freedom you have, you can't work because you like me, so you're going to stay your ass home.
That's not what I said, man. You
that's what you just said. You said that. You don't want your wife to work.
I never said I wanted a woman of the past.
You just we're talking about
my whole argument. Let me say it again. Let me break it down for you. My whole argument is that there is no.
You said that women unleashed.
How are you responding? You don't even know what I'm talking about.
You trying not to understand. You made a statement.
You don't even know my argument.
That a woman today, if she's gonna marry you, she's got to stay home.
Listen, my whole argument is this.
Yes, that's what you said.
The woman, I'm debunking the myth that the women were different. I'm saying the women of the past were the same. The women today are the same women they were in the past.
That wasn't the conversation we were having up here.
They just went through a means of lifted restrictions, and they got access to be able to stabilize themselves. The women are the same. They have more entitlement. They have more rights. They have more access to stabilize themselves. It ain't no different. It ain't no different. It ain't no different woman. This woman is not a different woman.
If a mindset is different, it's all different.
To abort the babies back then like that, or go out here and be promiscuous, she would have done it if she could.
Well, you know what? Here's my thing.
So you're saying most black women don't have the autonomy to sort of discipline themselves without rules?
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. That if you give
that's not what I'm saying. I'm saying that women have a desired outcome just like men have a desired outcome. Our desired outcome, we was able to get to it because we had less restrictions. I'm saying women back then has those same damn desired outcomes. They weren't permitted to go after it like us. I'm saying once you gave a woman the ability to go after her desired outcomes, we saw it. They went after it in mass.
And nobody's
just continuing to go that way. And then now what's happening is a male loneliness epidemic is happening.
There's no male
because it's not balancing out.
Bullshit, man.
Males ain't lonely, man.
Yeah, it's just another point, man. It's just bullshit.
Yeah, niggas ain't lonely out here, man.
You're a woman in 2026.
Niggas is still fucking more than ever.
Woman in 2026, you're gonna have to convince her to live under your purview. That's what you got to do. You're the one talking about they were the same with restrictions back then. The restrictions are gone now. The women are who they are today. And
Man,
we're talking
they the
about
same
today.
women. They
If
just
I'm
ain't
a
got the
man looking
the
for a
only thing
wife today,
changed.
if
There
I'm
was
a man
listen,
looking for a
Precious. There
wife,
was
then
no
hey, John,
biological or
hey, let me-
genetic
if I'm a man looking for
transformation at all.
why don't you just
Not
let
within those
somebody say
50,
something?
60 years.
We're talking
The
about
thing that
right now.
changed
the-
was
You
rights.
you refuse
It was
to
It's the
say
mental.
right
It's the
now.
mental
It was
capacity.
feminist movements. It was all those things that
Right
people
We're
died
talking
for
about in
to get happen. That's what
2026.
changed. It wasn't
In
it wasn't no fucking switch
2026,
that switched on in the
now nobody
the
says
mind of a
They
woman.
can't hear you. They can't hear you if you talk at the same time.
No, because he won't let nobody finish because he don't like this shit I'm dropping on.
Girl, we can have a
2020
conversation. You ain't got to
2020
keep going on a
2020
lecture.
No, this
We
guy
could
went
just talk
through.
back and forth because you're trying to
No,
lecture. You're
you
not
said
having a
in
conversation.
2026 we got these free women who are now can do anything they want. And
Because
you
of
came
what?
up here. Well, see this. There you go. You can't.
Why can't we have a conversation? Why do we gotta lecture
Well,
each
you
other?
gotta let somebody
You won't let
talk.
them finish.
I'm just
You
asking
gotta
you a
let me
question.
finish. You
I'm
don't
still
want me
gonna
to
have the
finish
same
because
question.
I'm gonna drop
Go
this
ahead.
shit on you, and you don't want me to finish.
Go ahead.
Right? So we're in 2026, and these women went through this so-called freedom because all the governors are gone. They could do what they want. If I'm a man in 2026 and I want a wife, I got to pick out of the pool that we have today, not from 1960. And the pool of women today, they want shit because they have the taste of the freedom you just talked about. And so if you want them to live under your purview, right, of be some kind of farm wench at $50,000 a year, they gotta love you a whole lot, or else you gotta have something at least to placate their thirst for the way they want to live. And if you don't want them to work, you gotta be able to provide something other than the fact that they just like you. So how many men today
How many times you gonna say this?
just could pluck a modern, so-called modern woman who's free, who has her own job, her own education, and say, listen, I love you, you love me back, but this is how we're gonna live. You're gonna live under my rules. Okay, good. My wife lives under my rules. But under those rules, how restrictive are you? Oh, you can't work for nobody else. Okay, great. If she says yes to that, then I'm with you. But then we're starting to talk about percentages of people who can provide that kind of lifestyle for the free woman. It ain't many. It ain't many.
What is your
I
question?
want to ask you a question.
I'm trying to see. That's what I'm trying to have a conversation.
You made all these
okay. You gonna still
now
talk? Go ahead.
Now you're playing ignorant.
I'm trying to have a conversation so we can see
yeah,
if we
but
agree.
But we having a conversation, but it has to be on your terms, or else it ain't a conversation.
I have a question. I have to wait till you monologue. You still didn't answer my question.
Monologuing your ass off too, man.
Go ahead and go. Keep monologuing. That's how you want to have a conversation. Go ahead and keep monologuing and lecturing. But if you don't allow a dialogue, we're never going to get to a point where we can see if we disagree or agree with something because you feel like you got to lecture something to me. Nothing you was saying and nothing I ain't never heard. But you said
you've been a professor, man. You're the professor.
Your peers.
This is what I disagree with. You said that women wanted a better lifestyle or something greater because they had a taste of it. I disagree with it. But I can't tell you I disagree when you're saying it because you got to finish your whole monologue and I got to go back.
Now you're contradicting
yourself. This is why I disagree with it.
You're contradicting yourself.
I was able to do enough research. I was able to have enough conversations and connect the dots. Women have always wanted the things that they could not have. And it wasn't because they finally got a taste of it. They already wanted it. They just couldn't get to it.
But that's human nature, though.
Damn, I just let you finish. But go ahead. Go ahead. You don't want to hear it. Just go ahead.
No. You said you're saying the same thing before. I don't agree with what you're saying.
Okay, we just gotta disagree on that point. We can ask Precious. We can ask. She's a woman, and I guarantee you, she can tell you. Women have always wanted these things that they could not have.
I agree with that part.
They let them out to get a taste of it. The reason, the very reason why they got these things is because they had to go and fight for the shit. So that in of itself tells you that they always wanted it.
Lord Jesus.
Why would nobody just gave them the rights?
But
they had to go fight for it because they always wanted it. It ain't because they got a taste of. They wanted the shit and they had to.
It's
this is the side of the space, Precious, that they don't want to talk about in the manosphere. They don't.
We ain't even talking about no damn
Nobody
balance
talk
bill.
about no goddamn
Precious,
balance
what is your
I
price
take
to sit you
accountability
down?
and say,
What's your
as
price?
men, speak for men, we intentionally held y'all back so that y'all can stay in the place so that we can have more control.
That's absolute
Because I'm telling you, it's people
That's
knew
what,
that unless we can capitalize on it as far as consumerism, we will let y'all out of the floodgates. But because we wasn't ready as an economic infrastructure, we wasn't ready to let y'all out yet. That's why y'all stayed in that position where y'all couldn't do the shit y'all doing for so many years. But once we knew we can break up the family and we could tax two people at a man and a woman at the same time, we can build an infrastructure to keep y'all at the bottom of the socioeconomic ladder. And yes, let's allow no fault divorce. Let's pitch singleness to the women. Let's pitch consumers to the women. And then we was able to give y'all all of these rights and let y'all educate and stabilize yourself because it helped for the economy. And it caused the destruction of the family.
But let's be real about that. Us as black men had nothing to do with that agreement.
You ain't got to do nothing because you ain't got no power. So of course you ain't got nothing to do with it.
What I'm saying is, but you asking, and I'm gonna ask Precious this question. Precious, what is your dollar amount to retire you?
My dollar amount. So you said what's my
what would be a dollar amount for a man to say, I want you to be my woman, I want you to sit down and be in our lavish background home?
I don't know if it's a dollar amount. I think it's just peace. It's honestly peace. I can't give you a dollar amount because what somebody can do with $100,000, somebody could probably do with $60,000-$70,000. Like I can't say that he has to be making such a certain amount of money. It has to be a peaceful situation.
I agree with that.
So based off your peers, it all go back to communication. Would most of your peers have your same mindset? Like, listen, it ain't about making money. He can make 60,000, 70,000, and I'll sit down and raise our slow ass kids. I'll clean our house.
I think most women, probably do have a price because they're making a certain amount. Like I make a certain amount, I work, you know what I mean? But I'm not going to say that, oh, well, he has to be making 3 times as me or, for him to be the man. No, a man is a man in his own right. And so, depending on it doesn't really matter what he's making per se. He has to be able to produce peace. He has to be responsible with money. He has to, I never like that. What's your dollar amount? Because a man with millions of dollars can gamble it all the way, and now there's no peace.
The point really is that in 2026, if a man wants a woman, she comes with expectations because she's been free. I don't care if she fought for or not. She's who she is today, based on the modern way we live. Men are still more traditional in mindset, even though these changes have happened. And I go back to the pill was one of the first things that changed things. So, but the fact is, if you want a woman today, even a good woman, right? They have to want you they got to actually want you more than you, and they got to really want you, right? So if you have restrictions, there's got to have a conversation on what that is because you're dealing with a woman of 2020, the 2020s. It doesn't matter what happened way back when. We're talking about women now. And so the women now, if you want them to live under your purview, right, they're going to have to agree to a lot of stuff. Like if it's one salary, if you make a lot of money, then that's easy. But if you don't, you got to tell women what they can't have anymore. And they're not going to be willing. And some might be willing to do that, and some might not. But we can't ignore the economy of today because we just want to be a man's man. But you don't want to compromise the woman that you marry with either. She's got to agree to a lot. So that means you got to have a good conversation, especially if you want to be the sole breadwinner. For me, it just came more natural, right? I was lucky because they promoted an asshole like me on the job a lot. So I was able to do it, but I understand you don't want other people chasing your woman around a desk.
Right. And Darwin, I'm pretty sure your wife is not just with you because you could pay all the bills.
No,
Darwin. There's not another one like you. So there has to.
It wasn't even about paying the bills. It was just that's what I wanted as a man. If I'm going, If you're gonna be my wife and I'm gonna be your husband, is do you want to get on board the fact that I'm gonna put you in a position where you can stay at home and take care of the kids? Are you okay with that? That was it. It wasn't no, I make this. It wasn't even what lifestyle. It was just, that's what I wanted. Are you down with it?
And what does she want coming in?
She just wanted me to respect her and not cheat on her.
Were you thinking like that at 22, 23, 24 years old?
Well,
because there's caveats to all of that, right? Because he said, I agree with you. At some point, a man has to level up. A man has to level up. I agree with that. 35 and over, you should have had all your playing out in the streets.
I wasn't even 35. I was 20. We
in the military outside. It doesn't.
26.
I'm just saying, if a man can develop that mindset, and it's not just for a woman. See, I have to always take the woman out for yourself to be even in a position to make decisions about the future of if you get with somebody or not. You have to always be in motion to be better. And we've gotten to a place where over the last 35 years, my Tupac, a race of babies that hate the ladies, those are adults now. Precious, you know I talk about peers. Those are your peers, right? And for years, they've been told they're not adequate. They're less than. So now they're coming to an open mindset like, hold up, this is what we're dealing with. Now, men are gaining a little bit more confidence because it comes down to if they love themselves. And they're approaching it different. They're not putting the woman first. They're saying, let me be first. And the women are actually realizing like, oh, I am getting a little older. And then I'm looking for these guys, and the guys ain't looking at them intentionally. They're looking to play around with them because the women are saying, if you want me, I got $1 amount. And they're going to play that game, which is a bad thing for them. Because most men are not going to always, most men, black men, I'll say this and I'll shut up. Over the last 3 to 5, 6 years since COVID, since some niggas got stupid at COVID, somebody got better. Since that time, regardless of where a man is, most of them are building. Most of them are not playing I'm a thug in the street games. Most of them are not doing that. They're trying to be better.
Well,
And before they get there,
these dudes that's getting told they got $1 amount, those guys are being leveraged into a relationship. That woman doesn't really like them.
But those guys don't have the confidence of themselves.
That's what I'm
saying.
Tax.
But
they don't.
The
woman sees you trying to pitch an offer to her, and she tell you a salary.
Confidence in himself to recognize that if a woman does, but listen, like you said, not every man is going to get taxed. If she like them, she ain't taxing them. I'm the one she taxing because she don't like me. I gotta take out the Ferris wheel and eat crab cakes.
You gotta give her something else to be able to tolerate you.
But again, most men are gaining that confidence and they're not playing that game anymore. Those days of
ain't
keep
none of
sweat
those,
over.
That's a lie. These men
That's
are not
over.
gaining no These men are not gaining no confidence. They not even trying. They're not even showing up. These guys.
So what age you talking about?
I'm talking about men in America. There's studies and data to support this. I'm not speaking out of my ass. There's men that's not even,
black men today just still want to be bullshit.
Incel epidemic, bro. This is some shit that never happened. This shit like this happening right now only happening in third world countries. We talking about the free nation where a man can go out and be whatever the fuck he want to be. He won't even get out and go make friends with other men. These young men aren't even signing up in the military like they used to be to go be men. Like these men are weak today. These men ain't getting no confidence. And the man who got any kind of confidence or can't offset the nuance in the dating market, they fucking flying out to other countries that got more desperate women. Because they know back in the days when our women were desperate, they were like the women in Dominican Republic. They were like the women in fucking Colombia. They were like the women in Thailand that would do anything they want and let
women were desperate
because they had to do it for stability. I'm telling you, the women ain't never changed.
Like women ain't never been desperate.
That's why now, Precious, you see why I keep going backwards. I can either go backwards.
Like women ain't never been desperate.
Country where the times were like the women went in the 40s or 50s, where the women had to rely on the man.
They did not have
it's a matter of survivability and dependability. You got women that are listen. You got women that have motherfucking like 2 or 3 kids, and as long as they can stabilize themselves, they won't even be with a man. They will fucking take care of them kids by themselves because Uncle Sam come in there and fucking made a way for them. If
But
they
they'll
don't
still
put up with your ass, if they can absorb themselves from listening to a man, they would do it. If you leave it up to them, a lot of them won't even go.
I mean, the bottom line though is no matter who, if you get a person that you're in a relationship with, you got to come to an agreement on how that relationship is going to work. And that's really the bottom line of all of this shit. It doesn't matter what the era is. And so now in the modern era, if you're a man and you're looking for a woman, you got to have your intentions clear. And she's got to answer you truthfully, and you got to believe her. You know, so this whole notion that what one woman would agree with, another woman might not, and then you have to keep looking for the one that agrees with your program. I think that's the way that's been forever. You know, a woman has to agree to your program. A woman, if you're gonna take a woman on, she's got to agree to your program. That's true today, and that was true back then. You know, and so the point really is if you want to get married today as a man, and let's just assume there's a certain percentage who got their shit together, you got to go into the pool of women that exists today. Right? Whatever happened in the past is the past. Whatever made them to be what they are today, it's all in there. So if you want to convince that woman who's been out there on the street working that she needs to live under your guidance and purview and direction, you have to have the conversation and she has to agree. Not just once, but more than once. There probably got to be some tests to that because people say shit if they like you that they don't really mean. And women and if you're going to tell her, and so a lot of men, and I agree with Darwin on this one, a lot of men ain't equipped for that shit. They're not. I mean, they're just not. So we can't have it both ways. The few men who are, the problem with that is that a man who knows he got it like that, he wants to bang out a whole bunch of chicks because he's in demand. You know, so it's got to be a man who's ready to settle down. You know, women hate that word, but men settle down with women all the time, by the way. Right? Especially if they're a select guy, they have to settle for the woman that they want.
It's got to be a man that's not highly desirable. Any man that's highly desirable, the likelihood of him seeing other women is very high.
Yeah. Okay. So
that's just how
unless he makes a decision not to.
Well, yeah, that's very rare. That's very rare. He's got to make that decision every time you have an interaction.
I agree with that. You know, so shit, man, we got something we agree on, Tom. Oh shit.
I guess us black men, we ain't Hallie.
But I will tell you that women don't have to be truthful today. They just got to perform. You can get any man from the bottom of the socioeconomic ladder all the way to the top. You can get the ball player. All you got to do is create a group chat and pull out a list of things, and you can go into the white women are proving that they can take the black millionaires. They can start studying these guys as early as high school and look at their 40 times. And that young black boy running a 4.2, you need to go carry his shoulder pads, clean his shit, give him lunch and follow him all the way to these PWIs until he get in the league and just turn head whenever you see a mother woman. And black women are not even studying these young athletes. They're letting their young athletes go to these white women because they want to go and have their own careers and stability. And the white women are like, fuck that. This generational wealth. I'm gonna take this sacrifice. Black woman, oh no, you can cheat. It don't matter. You can't. This is just There's nothing that you can give a black woman these days when it comes to generational wealth. She's not gonna sacrifice for it because she don't trust it. She don't believe in it.
I did say that one time on Lapiche. You know, I forget what the question was. Like, how do you know when you want to get married, or what is marriage, or something like that? And I pretty much said it's a sacrifice. You know, women have to realize that there is a level of sacrifice when you are joining with a man, and the same for a man too. There's a level of sacrifice as well, because I mean he's really putting you forefront to everything in his world. whereas he doesn't have to do that. You know what I mean? He chooses to do that. And so if he's going to choose to do that, then women, we have to realize that there is a certain level of sorry, you can't have it all at one time. There are going to be times where it's just like, no, you know, we're not going to be able to do this year 1 through 5, but as soon as year 6 come, we can look into that. We can dive into that. Like, it's just certain things that will not go like it goes when you're single. And that's why I said before, earlier, you know, everybody was not raised like how I was raised, but you know, being able to sit down with your kids and let them know this is being in a relationship is not a walk in the park. You know, me and your dad had to have plenty of conversations, or we had to, you know, compromise on a lot of things. You know, I think a lot of times we talk about our parents being able to match make and doing all those things. But you know, it's important for your children to see you not only as parents but as people, because we're all people, you know, and your little children grow up to be big people and adults who are making their decisions. And so, you know, these behaviors get repeated if no one steps in, or if no one, you know, decides to correct them, or if even if a generation decides to, you know, stay in ignorance. You know, there's nothing wrong with educating yourself and doing better for yourself, for you and your family, and not doing things the way that people of old did them because it worked for them. All right, so we're gonna get into the meat and potatoes, compliments and confusion. Okay. And then after this, we're gonna get up out of here. I saw this video and I thought it was interesting because, you know, there's a guy on here asking for, you know, an audience feedback on an exchange between a man and a woman, and a woman who is actually in a relationship. And this might go to a little bit of what Darwin was saying, with men being in that incel, you know, category. Because a lot of times when men are in the incel category, they really do not know the social cues and how to really interact with women. But hey, you guys give me your perspective, your opinion. I'm gonna put it up on here.
Sunday, first of all. Happy Easter, too. I want to get on here and ask y'all's opinion about something. Yesterday, me and my homie went to a bar, and while we was at the bar, he came across this girl that he had an interaction with at the same bar a year ago. When they came across each other the first time, they had probably like a 10, 15-minute conversation. He gets ready to end the conversation and gets ready to leave the bar, and he goes, like, you know, like, can I have your number or can we exchange information? She's like, no, I'm sorry. It's been really good talking to you, but like, I do have a boyfriend, so like, I am going to be respectful and not give you like my Instagram with my number. He was like, all right, cool. So yesterday, we ended up going back to the same bar that he ran into that girl at a year ago. We went last night, and he ends up running into her again. This time, he goes up and was like, yo, like, you know, did we run into each other a year ago? She remembers him. They start talking for a little bit. And he goes like, you know, last time I met you, you had a boyfriend. Like, do you still have a boyfriend? And she was like, yeah, I do have a boyfriend still. But, you know, it was good seeing you. And you smell really good, by the way. He came back to me after going talking to her. And he was like, bro, is this weird for her to know my intentions and know that I'm trying to, like, exchange information with her and for her to give me a compliment about, like, me smelling nice? I said, I don't think it's weird, but I do think it's wrong for her to know that, like, your intentions are to try to like talk to her or get at her or get her information or anything, and for her to be like, yeah, I have a man, but to still give you like a compliment. So I bring all this up to say that I wanted to ask y'all's opinion on this because my homie asked me my opinion. I told him he felt like it was weird too. So is it weird or wrong for her to have given bro a compliment knowing his intentions was to like talk to her and exchange information with her, knowing that she got a man?
You want to hear my thoughts, or you want to let him go first?
Whoever want to jump in.
First of all, my question is, because I think I missed it, where did they meet her at?
A bar twice.
So she's out in the streets, and she's been out for the whole entire year. The reason why she don't want to talk to that dude, because that's not the dude she gonna go with. If she's got a boyfriend and she's out in the streets, she fucking with somebody out in the streets. It's just not him. That's as simple as that. Her giving him a compliment, maybe she went through a rough patch within that 365-day gap, and now he's becoming more appealing. The more and more she go out to the streets, the same guys that show it up will become more appealing. It's only a matter of time. I guarantee if he go in there I guarantee if the second time he would have pushed it and said, hey, look, you know what? You say I'm smelling good, but shit, you smell good too. You want to. I was looking to see what the hell was going to happen after that, but I guess the dude left after he got a compliment, which was fucking weird. So, like, if you still didn't want no buns because she ain't had a boyfriend, why do you go in and remind her that, hey, look, I remember talking to you a year ago? Like, that part right there was off to me. I don't know if he thought about that before he told the story. But somewhere everybody was thinking, I'm guarantee you, if you look at the comments, like, okay, did he smack? You know what I'm saying? Like, what did he crack? What happened? Like, did he ask? Did he get her number?
No, she told him again that she's in a relationship.
She ain't like him.
No, she didn't. Well, he didn't say that in the second part of the story. He said, remember I met you last year and you said you had a boyfriend. Do you still have a boyfriend now? Yeah, but you smell good.
Okay, well, he ain't pick up the clues.
Yeah, but you smell good.
He ain't pick up the clues. Smelling good is personal. That's personal. That's personal.
So you're saying you're saying that a compliment is not just a compliment. It's to something else.
That's showing interest. You're already hosting the conversation.
Precious, I see you today. She's attractive. Hey, what's up? I got a man. Oh, I'm sorry. Move on. I see your ass 6 months, a year. Hey, I'm making it. You don't really remember me, but I'm making it known. Hey, you remember me? No, but you smell good though. Now, like Dr. said, that's an opportunity for me to hit you with that. Man, what's that you got on? Because you smell a little bit better than me, and we're gonna see where that go.
Or you can take a compliment and move on.
Precious, if I meet you out at the bar, you ain't sitting at that bar by yourself every time. If I'm the handsome enough dude, once I slide these little lines with you, buy you your favorite drink, man, it's going down.
Think about it though. If he wore that same cologne last year, the same cologne he wear now, what's so different about the smell now? You had sinus last time or some shit?
She won't that.
Because men, I'm gonna be honest with you. I can't speak for everybody, but I think for the most part, we literally hold on to the same fragrance. We stay consistent with the same cologne. Like if I'm wearing Chanel Blue, I'm gonna be wearing that for like 5, 6, 7 years. I've been wearing Chanel Blue for almost 10 years now.
Yeah, I've been wearing it, but that's in rotation though. If you
got the Chanel Blue though, right?
You wear it because it smells good, right?
That's my smell. You know, it's my rhythm.
That's your signature smell. Okay, so and I think a lot of people know that women, you know, a man smelling good is a very is very in your face, especially if they do smell good. So, you know, when you wear it, do you get compliments when you go out? Do people say, "Oh, you smell good"?
No,
sometimes.
No, I don't get no compliments.
Yeah, I get it from sometimes. Yeah, sometimes
nobody
you
comes
do.
up to me and say or stop me and say you smell good. Unless I'm in a place, because I'm rarely in a place where a lot of the interactions is acceptable. I would have to go into locations like lounges, places where people social. I tend to stay out of them situations, places, because you know I consider myself highly desired, and then if I got alcohol, then I probably end up doing something. So I kind of stay out. I stay out the way.
To stay out them circles.
Yeah,
okay.
But I guarantee you, if I was in them spaces like Big Pain over there, I would be. Everyone come sit on daddy lap.
I don't disagree with what was said in that whole thing. I mean, the chick is still. She's out. I mean, she's there. And she's still there a year. You gotta assume that that's her spot, and she's there a lot. You know, so you know.
But why did he try to talk to her at first?
Well,
right.
I mean, he went approach like most men approach women. You know, he wasn't banging out at one point.
Yes, but I'm sure. I mean, do you think he wanted? Well, of course, the way he acted, he didn't want to bang it out. But like Darwin said,
his approach wasn't complete.
But why interact? We ain't interacting with nobody. Don't want to crack.
Yeah. Why would you even make yourself visible to her?
Well, no. The first time. He made the approach. She said she had a boyfriend. He respected what she said.
Yeah,
the second time.
Rarely she ran into a guy that was very, very respectful. Most guys, if you get in a conversation, even though you got a boyfriend, and that's what I try to tell women, you can't be hosting conversations when you got a boyfriend, because that's a way of communicating interest. Because women are they're not gonna hold a conversation with nobody they don't like. They might even call sexual harassment.
And they damn sure ain't gonna say you smell good.
So now the compliment she did the second
time.
Dusty ass away from me. The second time, you know, a guy who was more outgoing might have looked at it. That's why he's asked the question. did I blow my opportunity to go to the next level when she gave me that compliment? And that's what he was really fishing for.
Yeah, he blew it.
He blew it.
He blew it. He blew it. You know? And but here's the thing, and here's where I gotta stick up for my precious, because sometimes she says a compliment is just a compliment, and I don't mean nothing by it. You know what I'm saying? But you got, if you're in a bar though, the setting matters.
Okay.
You're in the bar, you're drinking, you're in the bar, and the guy comes to you, you say, "Hey, I still got a boyfriend, but you smell good." I can't remember I can't remember the last time my boyfriend smelled like that.
But Payne, you know what we ignoring in his story, which I think was fabricated? All the nuances that could take a year. This man, you know, did he go through a transformation in the gym? Is his pecs showing through his shirt? Like, is that the reason why? Like, her year, like, you know, a boyfriend, in 12 months, none of those months she could have had gave a birth, and her body changed, and now she see that she probably look less valuable. So anything that this dude that come up on me, I'm like, I'm gonna shoot my shot. Like, we don't know what happened.
Or is it the same boyfriend? Is it the same boyfriend?
Yeah, is it the same? You know what I'm saying? Did she find out he was cheating a few months ago? Like, there's so many nuances in there that could have caused her to like switch up her mindset. Like, we don't know that part of the story is left out.
Yeah, but the question on the floor is, the guy asked his boy, you know, what did that really mean? And the fact is, he blew it. He should have went to the next level if he had any kind of game. And then she could have double tapped and said, "Listen, I'm still not interested, but you know, just take the compliment."
Yeah, she was for the streets.
Yeah.
Yeah, but some dudes are respectful though. Some dudes are respectful.
Like, so if a woman is so you're pretty, are you guys saying that if a woman has a man and tells you that she has a man, this kind of reminds me of the kind of the pop the balloon that we viewed a couple I think it was last show, where the woman was like, "I don't know why I popped the balloon," and he was like, "Oh, you're indecisive." Like, he kind of took the lead. But are you guys saying that when a woman has a man and she tells you that she has a man, is that grounds for like competition? Like, now are you approaching her like, you could be my woman and not that man's woman? Like,
no, typically when a woman says she's got a man, it's the same thing as a man say, "I got a wife." When a man is saying, if man is out in those settings, we're talking about the setting now. Okay. We're at the bar, where a place where it's expected to be hit on, it's expected to socialize with another man. She could be saying, "Hey, look, I got a man. If we do anything, it can't be no more than, you know,
that's it."
You know what I'm saying? That's what that typically means.
That's all it means.
If she's not interested, she wouldn't even tell him about her man. She would just say, "I'm sorry, I'm not interested."
There you go.
There you go. Okay,
they got a man. They just telling you, take caution.
That's it.
If this
Keep that shit on the down low.
Would it be different?
Huh?
Would it be different if y'all were at a coffee shop, at Starbucks, or at Barnes and Noble, and you know y'all ran into each other? Would it be different?
Because it wouldn't be no different. They had 15 minutes duration of talking. Mm-hmm. Ain't no woman that a woman that don't like you. Two people that don't like each other is not talking that long, especially a woman, especially whenever she's exposing herself, talking to a man that she don't like when other options are in and out of the premise. Right. She's not going to give you 15 minutes of hosting. What they call it hosting. It's interest-based conversation. The only way you can go that long is you have to have interest in each other. Right. Attraction has to be there.
Because I smell good to her.
And that was only a piece of the conversation. 15 minutes, they could have talked about anything we don't know about the other two.
I smell good.
But the profound thing is, if she wasn't interested, that's what she would have said.
It would have never went that length.
You don't even know what. If it doesn't matter whether I had a man or not, I'm not interested in you.
She would have walked off. You would have kept trying to.
Might not say it that way, but that's
she would have walked the hell off on your ass. Yeah. Because you know how y'all get afraid. You know, guys don't know how to deal with rejection. No, you ain't gonna talk to me for 15 minutes and not.
I'm not interested.
I don't think you're interested in me.
Yeah, they'll say that if you're not that one, they'll let you know I'm not interested. I'm waiting on somebody.
They
Oh,
want
you
you
know
to
what I'm
tell
saying?
them, better give you no business. I'm
So-
married. I got 2 kids. I live. I'm just not interested. You don't get none of that.
That shit quick.
Okay. So if she says I'm not interested, again, going off of the video that we saw last week, we gonna pop the balloon. I don't know why I popped my balloon. I still feel like men would still try to shoot their shot.
But you saw 2 different scenarios though, right? Because last week the man still stood. He stood, even though he saw her sort of give up. He stood tall in that moment. He shot his shot again. You sure you want that? Just like old boy.
But the setting was also different. They were in a dating show.
Yeah, that's a different.
Yeah, but most guys are not doing that. Most guys are not. If a woman say, "Hey, I'm not interested," most guys are not doing that unless they intoxicated or some shit.
Yeah,
their judgment is impaired because that's becoming predatory or at that point.
And they'll let you know, get your little ugly smelling ass away from me. Yeah. They'll let you know you stink.
Yeah, because we talked about that with the other video of, you know, the last talk show when the guy was like, no, in this Me Too culture, if a woman says no, it means no, you know. And so, all right, well, I thought, in my opinion, you know, her being at the bar twice within a year without her man, I think that is a red flag. I'm not saying that women can't go out and have their fun or whatever. However, being in a club, you're right, that setting is an inviting setting.
No doubt.
To have someone come up to you and talk to you, point blank, period.
Yeah, Precious, 15 minutes of conversation. That's just with him. How many times has she been in that bar and how many conversations you have with other men?
Right. I look, I agree with you there. What I don't necessarily agree with though is the compliment being taken more than just a compliment. And I say that because men are always looking for like the open door. They always say like women got to give me this, you know, cue or this sign that he's feeling me. And a lot of times, you know, like I'm an open person that, you know, people feel like they could talk to, but just because I'm socializing with you or even give you a compliment don't mean that I like you. It don't mean that I'm interested in you. It just means that I'm someone that you can have conversation.
But Precious, you're careful with who you might give that compliment to just because of those reasons.
Yeah, but I don't think Precious is saying that. Are you including the setting?
Well, I mean, there are a lot of factors.
Talking about alcohol and music and
right,
ass out and all that.
But even still, you know, just being a social person that I am, you know, if somebody smell good, I would say you smell good.
Man,
you know?
When's the last time you've been out?
There are other factors there too, because like I said, if I have a man, I'm not going to, you know, put myself in a situation where I'm one disrespecting him, because I do think that when you are in a relationship, like Darwin said, like I'm not going to put myself in those situations, especially because I know how men react to me. Like, you know what I mean? So I'm not going to do that either. But I think that a compliment being a compliment should just stay at it just being a compliment.
Well, it can't. It's a conflict. It's a contradiction with the setting and the space, because that's what's confusing men out here. Women are coming out here looking all sexy and got their ass and tits out, and they host a conversation for 15 minutes and give you a compliment about your fragrance, but somehow the man is supposed to deduce from that she's not interested. She's just socializing. Now, we were just at a workplace, Brian, and we was at Walmart or some shit, and everything was casual and stuff. And yeah, but in that particular space, a lot of women are setting themselves up to be misleading, and that could be a conversation that you can have with women out here.
I'm sorry.
That frustrates a lot of men, because that makes men don't even want to go out, because we're like, we don't know what signals y'all are sending. We can't come at y'all and be straightforward. Like, look, we got to kind of play around with the compliments, you know what I'm saying, to throw interest. So what else do we have to show interest? Because back in the days, like I said, like Payne said, I wasn't there, but y'all know what y'all used to say. Y'all was straightforward, more transparent. You had to, you know, tiptoe around what you wanted. Now you got to tiptoe around, and you just got to use compliments like that to show interest. I like your hair. And if a woman think that don't mean that he wants you, she's foolish.
Yeah,
That's
foolish.
how we gotta communicate. I like your hair, dude. That look good today. That nigga wants you.
Because he singled you out.
It is
We
nothing
single
you
out
can
the
say.
ones we like. So.
True, but it also goes back to what you're saying. Like, if the woman don't really like the man like that, she's probably not even going to take it any further. It's just like, oh, okay, thanks. Like, you know what I mean? Like, she's not even going to think that you are flirting with her. And I don't know. I think that I agree with what you're saying, Darwin. Like, nowadays, it's just like you don't know what social cues to take because people are so scary nowadays and can't be straightforward, honest.
Well, that's why a lot of women, especially black women, have a resting bitch face because they're afraid to smile at somebody.
Sometimes I have it.
I mean, because some men will take a smile and go really far. I mean, they go like crazy. You smile at me, that's all the choosing signal I need, and that's not how you meant it. You're just feeling good that day.
Right.
I had a friend, man. Every woman who smiled at him,
you up. You see that girl smiled at you?
That's right. I had a buddy, man. Every woman who smiled at him,
He done went over there and got his ass rejected.
He thought he was gonna get laid that night, man. I said, "Come on, man. She ain't even thinking about this stupid." She just smiled at you because, man, listen.
She's supposed to listen. You're supposed to get it twice though. Like if she smiled at you twice, like she smiled once and then look away and then she see you again and smile again, bro. Like don't do you fucking with me if you doing this shit if you don't really.
Yeah.
Oh, it's like the guy in the video. Like when you guys were in that dating field and with your boys and things of that nature. Were those conversations that you were having? Like, yo, I saw this girl and I saw her a year later. It got to be a sign. She told me I smell good. Like, like, are those conversations? Because it's like, where do you learn a lot of this stuff from? Like, except from
trial and error, man.
Trial and error, repetition.
A lot of dealings with women
Challenge.
is pretty much on the fly.
Yeah.
But a lot of that confidence has to be there initially, right?
Yeah.
Because again, he came back to it. He made himself he put himself in her vision. Do you remember me? So that was his no, you got a man? No, but you smell good. Okay, let's see where this goes. She's at the bar. It's not the first bar and the last bar she been in. She been in the bar several times. Now she gave him an open window and he shut it in her face. And then he went back to his boys. He wasn't necessarily wrong. But some dudes ain't as nice. Some dudes will go further because I identify you as attractive. Last year, you still attractive this year.
Right.
See, so she got off easy because she could have ran into Nug like, what's up, shawty? You got fine as hell.
You know how wide open the door is if you saw a woman a year ago and you see her again. I mean, and you sit down, man. I saw you. I mean, there's a lot of
time you
open.
had a whole 15-minute conversation.
Yeah, man.
Yeah.
Especially so, I remember you. I mean, that's
15 minutes. You got to understand, 15 minutes is not.
It's like 2 hours.
To talk.
Hey, listen. A lot of guys today couldn't even pull off a 15-minute conversation.
Mm-mm.
You got to be able to. She's going to say something. You got to say something. You got to say. You got to have a conversation.
Think about it. People get to the bar. People get to the lounge at 12. For real. And that thing starts shutting down at 2:30. 15 minutes of that shit.
Man, you good. 15 minutes used to do me good.
Most people don't even talk to you until they get it. They get an hour in so they can peep out who all coming. They don't want to spoil it and start talking to you straight up. They gotta wait till you start the lights come on.
Running through the veins,
Yeah. So the answer to the guy in the video is that you blew an opportunity.
Wow.
Yeah, but I don't even remember what his question was. Was he saying was it wrong?
He said, was it weird? Was it weird / wrong of her to compliment him, knowing that his intention was to, talk to her?
Yeah. Well, yeah, I think we answered that. It was wrong. It wasn't weird because we knew what she was doing it for, but it was wrong because if she's in a committed relationship, then yeah.
Right.
I mean, that's what they're doing out here, though. Like,
it definitely, like I said, complimenting a man, there's nothing wrong with that. However, when you have a man, and you just off the wall, just complimenting a man that, is at a bar with you without your man being present, because you could compliment the man to your man, like, oh, I really like the cologne he wear.
I still can't get past the fact that
Be careful,
she got a man and she's at a bar. I mean, I don't know, when I was dealing, I don't think this is a timeless thing. I couldn't see a woman that is my woman at a bar having drink and talking to other guys. I mean, what are you doing?
Yeah, I mean, you're just sending her out there to use it, especially the guys who say that women don't have struggle with discernment and all that stuff. You sending her out here to drink and make sound decision, and then God forbid she's walking out of there with whatever she want to wear. Like it's just you setting her up.
Right.
That's
what she's gonna have to agree with those days out hanging out at the bar and the places like that. If you're not finished with that, then we can't go any further than where we are.
Yeah, well, there's guys out there that allow it, bro. We see it too.
Oh, I agree. I know.
I would say 70% of the girls that's in there got a man.
Right.
Man at home.
Man ain't just looking. Listen, you ain't not saying you, but women ain't just attractive in the face. Your face card ain't the one that brought us over. It got us to look at you, but once we looked at you, we always
do the scan,
the whole area. Then that's what's gonna get us over there. Now, what's gonna keep us is how you respond. But that was the old school way, because, like I already said, we have that walk of shame. You don't walk all the way across the spot. She said no. Now you got to walk all the way back, and then your boys is on you. Oh, man, I knew you wasn't going to get that. But again, at least they will let you know. Now they'll play the game with you for 10, 15 minutes, and then you like, well, damn, I don't know which way to go.
Right.
Because nowadays they asking for the drink. They trying to get something out of it before they send you on your way. But Darwin coming there with his muscle shirts on, chest all big and shit. She yelling across the room, "Hey, Darwin!" I'm like, "Damn, I just bought you a drink." And he gonna spend 10 minutes talking to her. Next thing you know, they slow grinding and shit. She ain't left her. Then he done walked out the club with her.
And Darwin say, "Wilson, you got some pictures or something?"
No, I'm just saying, man. Women go if they like you ain't gotta do all that.
I mean, how do you save the guys? How do you guys save the guys? Okay, Darwin, when you're out there in the streets, man, how do you save the guys today to get them to the point where they know they have to go out and get what they want? They got to go out and be unafraid to look a woman in the eye and say something meaningful.
You got to take those guys with you as often as you can, and they've got to see you leave with something and them go home every night. Once they see that enough, they'll know that they gotta speak up. Otherwise, this is gonna continue to happen. You're gonna have to keep going home to beat your meat while I go out and have fun. That's all it takes. You don't got to train a man. You ain't got to say nothing to him. He just got to witness himself losing every time he go out. As long as he's willing to get in the car and go out and lose, eventually he will learn that, look, you got to open up your mouth. You got to be comfortable approaching women and having a conversation. You do not know what will happen until you actually say something to her.
Right. Don't have to be
that's becoming a lost art. It really is.
Yep.
I think
but the problem today, like we said earlier, the guys are not even going out.
Yeah, they're not.
We hear women complain about dating events and stuff. The men are not even showing up.
Yeah, you gotta
they
go.
Have to pay men to come.
A woman will know how socialized you are too. Like I could tell when a guy, just doesn't have that. They might have and things like that, but they have no social. Especially guys that's like, I like you and things like that, but they don't know how to plan anything. They don't know how to get to certain conversations. Like, it's just like, do you talk to women often, or like, is this your first rodeo? You know what I mean?
But let's just talk about if you talk about the dating show, the dating things, those things where the women don't have no men there. All right, Darwin, let's ask you this.
Why?
Would you actually go to those? You're the kind of guy they say.
Depends on what type of guy. Well, the reason why those guys don't go there is because the women they will fluctuate around the guy that has the higher socioeconomic status and charisma and genetic markers. So the
But what do
problem
you
is
even go there? What do
the
you even
problem in
go
the
there?
dating the problem on the dating apps happen in real life on dating events. Like I think they actually put the scenario in one of the latest movies of The Accountant. I think The Accountant 2 with Ben Affleck, where you saw him go into a dating event and he tricked their algorithm and all of the women were lined up one after the other to shoot they shot while all the other men are sitting at tables by themselves just waiting, looking at them like men don't want to go to shit like that because man, it's not a balance. So they're like, I'd rather just stay home if they're gonna do like that. So women are at an all-time high of being very meticulous with their selection preference on a hypergamy scale that is just it don't even make sense for guys who are like 5'8" or anything like that to try to come out there and compete with these guys, the Chads. It's just hard. It just don't make any sense. So they won't go.
And the women could be a 3 all the way up into an 8.
Bro, and some of these guys that they're passing up is actually a good dude.
Yeah.
Like he can go and build a family and treat you right. It's just they just don't know. I think they got to live with the fact they chose him, and they also got to live with the fact that when they go to their friends group chat, like, nigga, you with that nigga? Really? You could have got. They got to deal with all that, and they prioritize that over that. So it's a sad thing, man.
Well, guys, we have come to the end of the show.
Yeah.
It's been a good one. I appreciate everyone who is engaged, who was engaged in the show, like the show. Thank you guys so much for joining the panel. Sean, he was here. He dropped off. 3 a.m. Thoughts was here. He dropped off as well. Thank you, Darren, our Payne, Coach Ferg. Thank you guys so much. Truly appreciate it. We'll be back next Wednesday. We'll be back next Wednesday. If you guys are free or if you guys do catch our Tuesday adoptee shows, starting to schedule more guests to come on the show to build the community. So definitely catch those shows. We actually had 3 a.m. last night, who was reunited with his birth sister. So that went really well. Yeah. And so, I'm trying to get a couple more people. We're going to be doing a recording soon with somebody that I'm just going to premiere because she's not available during our regular times. But the community is growing. This community is growing. I see, different names every single time we come in the live. So thank you guys so much. I appreciate you. And y'all know what I say, be real with yourself so you can be real with everybody else. Happy Thursday and happy Memorial Day weekend. You guys have a great
Take it easy.